Part 31. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 302. The movie is a costume romantic comedy called Nine Beauties. I don't recognize the male protagonist Li Jie, but the other leading actors look familiar. The second male lead is Brother Tao from Crazy Stone, the second female lead is Xiao Yanzi from Return of the Pearl 3, and the second female lead is Tang Yuya from Love Apartment. Not long after the movie started, Li Jie took Luan Xiaolin, who was sitting next to him, into his arms and asked her to sit on his lap. When men bring girls to the cinema, watching movies is never the point. Compared to this boring movie, Li Jie still thinks long legs are more fun. To be honest, he never thought about Luan Xiaolin's hidden rules. Apart from her long legs, she cannot compare to Sun Wanning and Wang Zhaining in terms of appearance. But he couldn't resist her taking the initiative and pounced directly on her. Li Jie couldn't resist the temptation of her long legs and fell for it. Therefore, it is really difficult for a girl to pursue a boy, especially a girl who is good looking and has special talents. Li Jie was playing with his legs, but Luan Xiaolin was watching it very seriously, and she would comment on the acting skills of the leading actors from time to time. In her opinion, the acting skills of the actors are a bit exaggerated, especially the second female lead. Li Jie glanced at her and said, "What do you know? My aunt created her own set of performance rules for Down syndrome." After watching the movie, it was already past 11 o'clock in the evening. Li Jie took Luan Xiaolin for a walk on the Bund and blew in the wind for a while. At around 12 o'clock in the morning, he took her back to the house in Lujiazhuai. The house in Lujiazhuai is lived by Lu Kaiyu. Li Jie was actually reluctant to lead his lover to his girlfriend's residence like this. This makes him look like Hong Shixian. But who gave him nowhere to go? However, Li Jie planned to wait a while and buy a house next to the Bund for both Lu Kaiyu and Shen Xinyi after the housing prices dropped. This way the four of them live closer together and save him from running around when he's on the go. From now on, the house in Lujiazhuai will be reserved for spending the night with lovers. As for hotels, it is better to go less often. After all, there will be more and more hidden cameras in the future. Arriving at the house in Lujiazhuai, Li Jie took out the key, opened the door, and led Luan Xiaolin inside. However, he was stunned for a moment as soon as he came in. There was a pair of high heels placed at the door, and two black silk quilts that had been taken off were still casually on the ground. Didn't Lu Kaiyu return to Tanzhou yesterday? Is she back again? This matter was such a big deal that he didn't expect to ask them to compete so soon as to see whose legs were longer. However, Li Jie couldn't help but feel a little excited at the thought of putting Lu Kaiyu and Luan Xiaolin's long legs side by side on the bed. "Husband, is there someone else living in your house?" Luan Xiaolin also saw the high heels and black stockings on the ground. Li Jie smiled at her without explaining. "Xiaolin, you go take a shower first." Luan Xiaolin didn't ask any more questions and went to the bathroom. After Luan Xiaolin went to the bathroom, Li Jie walked to the bedroom and took off his clothes. He rashly brought Luan Xiaolin over. Lu Kaiyu would definitely be in a mood. Li Jie was going to sleep on it first. No, he convinced her. Then let them compete on the bed to see who has longer legs. Pushing open the door of the master bedroom, through the light of the living room, you can vaguely see Lu Kaiyu lying on the big bed covered with a thin blanket, with her long legs exposed. Li Jie closed the door, got on the bed, lifted the thin blanket and got in, hugged Lu Kaiyu's soft and delicate body, and started to kiss her. This guy with long legs doesn't even wear pajamas. Lu Kaiyu was soon awakened by the alarm and found that someone was bullying her. She was frightened and struggled to shout out. "Xiao Yu, don't be afraid, it's me." Li Jie quickly held down Lu Kaiyu and whispered comfort in her ear. Hearing Li Jie's voice, Lu Kaiyu immediately stopped struggling, but his body was still a little stiff. "Are you a little scared?" Li Jie continued to bully Lu Kaiyu while talking to her. "Didn't you say you would go home for 2 days? Why did you come back so soon? Lu Kaiu said nothing and didn't cooperate very much. She just let him bully her. Li Jie suddenly felt something was wrong. The feel seemed a little different, the size was wrong too. This is not Lu Kaiu. He was shocked and quickly let go of the other person and asked, "You are not Xiao Yu, who are you? How could a girl sleep in Lu Kaiu's bed?" The other party remained silent. Li Jie put on some clothes, got up from the bed, and turned on the light. Under the illumination of the light, he immediately recognized who the girl on the bed was, and said unexpectedly, "Song Kaer, why are you in Xiao Yu's bed?" Song Kaer lowered her head and didn't dare to look at him. She looked blushing and embarrassed and whispered, "I'm staying here." Originally, Song Kaer and Lu Kaiu agreed to stay there for a week at most, but she didn't find a suitable house, so she delayed moving out. Lu Kaiu didn't want to force Song Kaer to leave, but just urged her to find a house as soon as possible. Then she went abroad with Li Jie, and Song Kaer lived here alone, so there was no rush to move out. The rent in Shanghai is so expensive. If you rent a house less for one day, you will save one day's rent. Besides, the rented house has no good living conditions here. So, Song Kaer stayed there for more than a month. It wasn't until Lu Kaiu came back from abroad and found out that she hadn't moved out yet and got angry with her that she rushed to find a house. However, it is really hard to find a house in Shanghai. Song Kaer has to go to work during the day, so she can only look at houses at night. After searching for 4 or 5 days, she finally found a reasonably suitable house tonight. Song Kaer was thinking that she would stay here for the last night tonight, since she would not be working on the weekend tomorrow, so she would be moving. Unexpectedly, Li Jie, who had not been here for more than a month, suddenly came in the middle of the night. Borrowing. Li Jie looked at Song Kaer on the bed and couldn't help having a headache. The same goes for Lu Kaiu. Someone stayed with her, but she didn't say anything to him. Besides, how can anyone let a renter share the master bedroom? Why didn't you say anything just now? I don't dare. Song Kaer raised her head and glanced at Li Jie, then quickly lowered her head, looking very afraid of him. Don't dare? What reason is this? Li Jie was speechless after hearing this. What did Song Kaer think? He wasn't a gangster who threatened her with a weapon, so why wouldn't he dare to resist? She wasn't a badass before, she was quite brave to speak out. Fortunately, he discovered something was wrong in time. What if he felt something was wrong after just trying it for a while? Does he count as that? However, that shouldn't count, as she didn't resist. Aren't you at the branch in Hongcheng? Why are you here in Shanghai? Li Jie wanted to lighten the atmosphere. This was too embarrassing. His previous relationship with Song Kaer was limited to acquaintance. I applied to be transferred here, Song Kaer said and looked at Li Jie again. She didn't know why she didn't resist just now, why she didn't push Li Jie away. Don't tell Xiao Yu about this, Li Jie said to Song Kaer again. Yeah, Song Kaer snorted lightly after hearing this. Okay, then you can go back to sleep. After Li Jie finished speaking, he was ready to go out. He could only spend the night with Luan Xiaolin in the second bedroom tonight. Although Song Kaer was also responsible for tonight's incident, he couldn't let her make room for him after bullying her. Mr. Li, Song Kaer suddenly called out to him. Kaer, do you have anything else? Li Jie stopped. Mr. Li, what are you going to do? Li Jie was stunned for a moment when he heard this. Why, does Song Kaer still want him to be responsible? But he didn't care much about her either. Let's just pretend this never happened. Just pretend it never happened. After Song Kaer heard this, she felt lost and uncomfortable for some reason. But were we all like that just now? She whispered. What does that mean? He said it as if something had really happened to her. Kaer. Li Jie looked at Song Kaer and said, you have a boyfriend, and I also have a girlfriend. I think it's better for us to forget about this matter. My boyfriend and I have broken up, Song Kae whispered again. Kae, what do you want to do? Lee Jae felt that Song Kae seemed to be relying on him. Mr. Lee, can I be your girlfriend? Song Kae glanced at him and said tentatively. But I have a girlfriend, more than one. I don't mind. You don't mind, but I do, Lee Jae said in his heart. He was really speechless. You've been with your ex-boyfriend for so long, and you haven't let him take responsibility for it. I touched you because of a misunderstanding, and you asked me to take responsibility. What's the point? This won't work, Lee Jae shook his head. However, I will give you some compensation. Although both sides are responsible for tonight's incident, after all, it is the girl who suffers in this kind of thing, so Lee Jae will still give Song Kae some compensation, such as transferring her to a better position. But I don't want compensation. After hearing this, Song Kae felt even more uncomfortable and wronged. She just wanted to be with Lee Jae, not to threaten him or ask for anything. At this time, Luin Xiaolin had finished taking a bath, wrapped in a bath towel, wiped her wet hair, opened the door and walked in. Seeing Song Kae on the bed, she couldn't help but be stunned. This girl's growth is not much worse than hers. Although her legs are not as long as hers, they are still outstanding. Is the other party also Lee Jae's girlfriend? Who is this? Luin Xiaolin said in a questioning tone. This is Song Kae, Xiaoyu's friend, who came here to stay, Lee Jae explained to Luin Xiaolin. Speaking of which, Song Kae is Luin Xiaolin's senior sister. Both of them were from the Aviation Academy, but Song Kae graduated early and Luin Xiaolin had never met her. Is she also your girlfriend? Song Kae looked at Li Jie and said. She didn't know this girl, but since Li Jie brought her here in the middle of the night, there must be an affair between the two. But Li Jie is willing to accept this girl, why is he not willing to accept her? She looks better than the other person. Li Jie did not answer Song Kae. He had no obligation to explain to her. He just said, you can rest, we are going out. After saying that, he said to Luin Xiaolin, let's go. Why can she do it but I can't? Song Kae said loudly and unwillingly. She is a little afraid of Li Jie. This is the subconscious fear of the lower level employees towards the company's big boss. Especially after watching Li Jie develop a newly established small game company into an entertainment group with 3 or 4 companies in less than a year, she expressed awe and admiration for him in her heart. This is why, after the misunderstanding, Song Kae suddenly proposed to be Li Jie's girlfriend. But now that she was anxious, she became more energetic and didn't care about anything. Li Jie turned around and was about to leave, but stopped again when he heard what she said. He turned around, glanced at Song Kae, and left without saying anything. Luin Xiaolin glanced at Li Jie who was leaving, and then said to Song Kae, not everyone is qualified to be his girlfriend. She paused and said something again. After saying that, she also left. After hearing Luin Xiaolin's words, Song Kae was stunned for a moment, fell silent, and watched the two people leave without saying a word. After walking out of the master bedroom, Luin Xiaolin glanced at Li Jie and asked with a smile, husband, did something happen between you and that Song Kae? Li Jie also glanced at her, it's just a little misunderstanding, but it's nothing. A little misunderstanding? Nothing. Luin Xiaolin didn't quite believe Li Jie's words. In her opinion, it must be Song Kae who seduced Li Jie. Lu Kaiu actually let such a friend come to stay at her home, which was like luring her love rival into the house. The two came to the second bedroom. Li Jie looked at the big bed with only one mattress and said to Luin Xiaolin, let's just stay here for one night. The room has not been decorated yet, and there are no beddings. Fortunately, the weather is hot at this time, so it won't be cold even if you don't cover anything. After getting into bed, Luin Xiaolin rubbed against Li Jie a little restlessly. But after what happened with Song Kae, Li Jie still had the time to play around with Luin Xiaolin. It's very late, Go to bed quickly. It's really late, it's past 1 in the morning now. Luan Xiaolin glanced at Li Jie with a bit of resentment. Seeing that he had closed his eyes, she hugged his waist and closed his eyes. She couldn't help but wonder, was Li Jie really seduced by Song Ke-er? Otherwise, when he was in the cinema, he was still in love with her long legs, but now he suddenly lost interest. Li Jie and Luan Xiaolin soon fell asleep. But Song Ke-er, who was in the master bedroom, had insomnia and couldn't fall asleep no matter what. Her mind was filled with the last words Luan Xiaolin said to her. Song Ke-er really didn't expect that Li Jie rejected her because she had a boyfriend. Does he have any plot? But he himself is not that kind of person, so why should he ask her to be that kind of thing? Besides, she has only had one boyfriend. Song Ke-er was immediately filled with resentment towards Li Jie. In fact, Li Jie would reject Song Ke-er without hesitation, and it really didn't matter what the plot was. Many men have some plot points, and Li Jie is no exception. But he is not extreme, nor does he say that finding a girlfriend requires a blank slate. Su Yisha also had a boyfriend, and he didn't dislike her. Li Jie rejected Song Ke-er mainly because after having Xiao Jiao, Zhou Ziyu, and others, his vision has been raised extremely high. He had refused even Luan Xiaolin before, let alone Song Ke-er. In addition, Song Ke-er's character is very unpleasant, and she is really not Li Jie's type. Li Jie accepted Luan Xiaolin because he fell in love with her personality after being in contact with her for 2 months. Not just because she is good looking and has long legs. Otherwise, just based on looks, why wouldn't he pursue Sun Wanning and Wang Zhaining? They both look more beautiful. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 303. Song Ke-er tossed and turned until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. When it was almost dawn, she finally fell asleep. When she woke up again, it was already past 9 a.m. Song Ke-er got up and walked to the living room. She subconsciously glanced at the door and found that there were only her high heels and stockings on the floor. Li Jie and the girl should have left. After going to wash up briefly, Song Ke-er began to pack her things and packed her personal belongings into the suitcase. After packing up her things and cleaning the house, Song Ke-er dragged 2 suitcases to the door. She took one last look at the house where she had lived for more than a month and closed the door. Dragging the suitcase to the gate of the community, Song Ke-er stopped a taxi. Sitting in the taxi, her mind drifted away and she remembered everything about Li Jie. The first time she met Li Jie, she blocked him outside the company. Before last year, Li Jie called her late at night and said he would come to her dormitory. She was thinking wildly and worried about what he had planned, but in the end, he just arranged for Bai Wei to come and stay temporarily. And last night, Li Jie mistook her for Lu Kaiu and bullied her. "Beauty, we've arrived." The taxi driver's voice brought Song Ke-er back to her senses. The community where she rented arrived. This is an old community, not only further away from the company, but also the conditions are completely different from Li Jie's house. Time passed day by day, and it was the end of August in a blink of an eye. Summer vacation is coming to an end, and the annual freshman semester is coming again. On August 26, Li Jie accompanied Xiao Jiao back to Xishan, and the two held a simple engagement ceremony. On the 27th, Li Jie picked up his mother at Xishan railway station. As soon as Mother Li saw him, she resisted asking, "Isn't your girlfriend Xiao Zhou? What's going on with this Xiao Jiao? Did you and Xiao Zhou break up?" Seeing his mother's confused look, Li Jie smiled and said, "Why did Xiao and I break up?" He paused and said, "Xiao is my girlfriend, and so is Xiao Jiao." When Mother Li heard that her son had found 2 girlfriends, her expression suddenly changed. Both of her marriages broke up because the man had an affair, which led to the breakup of the relationship. What she disliked the most was the man's philandering. "Xiao Jie, you were quite honest when you were a child, but when you grow up, Mom, honesty is not a compliment. Li Jie shook his head in his heart. The word honest is basically synonymous with being worthless. That Xiaozhou or that Xiaojiao, who did you get together with first? Mother Li asked with a frown. Xiaojiao and I have been together since the beginning of school, and Xiao Yu has been together since then, Li Jie said. Mother Li was stunned for a moment after hearing this. She really didn't expect that obedient and sensible Xiaozhou was actually the third party. The originally good impression of her suddenly turned into a very bad one. Then does Xiaojiao know about you and Xiaozhou? I know. Li Jie nodded. Mother Li was stunned again. Then she doesn't mind. It's definitely a little mind-boggling, but she can accept it? The more Mother Li listened, the more ridiculous she felt. She used to be worried that her son would not be able to find a wife, but now it is good. His son has found 2 girlfriends, and the 2 girls are willing to follow him at the same time. Then you 3 are going to continue like this? You have to choose one to get married. You can't marry both of them, right? Why can't they all be married? Li Jie disagreed. As long as you don't get a license, it's not illegal to marry several girls at the same time. Why can't I marry both Xiaojiao and Xiao Yu? Xiaojiao and Xiao Yu both like me, and I can afford to support them. Isn't this good? After hearing this, Mother Li was shocked and felt that she did not recognize this son. You don't get a certificate and you call it marriage. You're just fooling around. Xiaozhe, you just made some money writing a book, why do you act like those rich people? Li Jie glanced at his mother, who had an ugly face, and knew that this kind of thing didn't make sense to her. Because old people have their own ideas, and they are stubborn and refuse to change. Not only did I write the book, I also started a company with the money I earned from writing the book. You've opened a company? What kind of company? Don't lose money if you start a business rashly. When Li Jie said that he had opened a company, Mother Li's attention was immediately diverted. I run a game company and make online games. I didn't lose any money and even made a lot of money, Li Jie said briefly. Online games? Is it a game like the Wa that your brother plays? Li's mother has no good impression of games. Her eldest son neglected his studies because of his playfulness and addiction to games. As for the Dawa she mentioned, she meant Dawa Westward Journey. Li Jie, the cheap guy, is a hardcore player of this game. Then your company made money? How much money did it make? Tens of millions, Li Jie said ambiguously. Kudong Group's current monthly profit is 30 to 40 million, and it is true to say tens of millions. As long as it's less than 100 million, it's tens of millions. Mother Li was shocked when she heard this. You have made tens of millions in the past 6 months. It's my company. It can now earn tens of millions every month, Li Jie corrected. Earn tens of millions a month. She felt that what Li Jie said was too exaggerated, and Li's mother didn't believe it. The games developed by my company have just been launched and are very popular, so more people are playing them, so they make more money now. But after a while, when so many people don't play them, they may not be able to make so much money, Li Jie explained. When Li's mother heard this, she felt that this was more normal, and she automatically understood Li Jie's statement of earning tens of millions a month as company income, not profit. The company's revenue is tens of millions, and after deducting operating costs, it would be great to have a profit of 3 to 4 million. Xiaozhe, no matter how rich you are, you can't act recklessly. Mother Li was certainly very happy when she heard that her son had made a lot of money by starting a company, but she still felt that it was wrong for him to be in 2 different places. I think you still have to make a choice, get married, and live a good life. It's not a good thing to be so messy. Okay, Mom, please don't worry about me, Xiaojiao, and Xiao Yu. Li Jackson said, where are we now? There are still 2 people who haven't told you. If you knew, wouldn't it be even more unacceptable? If you don't let me take care of it, then why did you ask me to come here? Just don't ask me to come. Mom, if you really don't want to go, forget it, Li Jie said with a sigh. Li's mother went in the end. She was just tough talking, but she was still very concerned about Li Jie's affairs. Father Chiao and Mother Chiao were extremely enthusiastic about Mother Li's arrival, and they greeted each other with greetings and greetings. They were treated differently from another in-laws, the Han Fei family, who Mother Li had treated before. Han Fei's parents have always looked down upon Li's Hepeng and Li Jie's family, and their attitude towards Li's mother has always been cold. Mother Li also met Xiao Qiao, and she fell in love with Xiao Qiao as soon as she saw her. Xiao Qiao's appearance is very deceptive. She is pure, well-behaved, and pretty. She looks sensible and is very popular with the elderly. But he didn't know that she was the president. On the 28th, Li Jie and Xiao Qiao held an engagement ceremony at a famous hotel in the county. The engagement ceremony was very small. Xiao Qiao's family only invited some close relatives, and Li Jie's family only invited Li's mother. More than 20 family members and relatives from both sides had a meal together, and Li Jie put an engagement ring on Xiao Qiao in front of the elders. It is worth mentioning that Xiao Qiao was wearing a red hanfu, which was particularly beautiful. Mother Li liked her even more when she saw her. The atmosphere at the wine table was relaxed and harmonious. All the relatives at Xiao Qiao's house knew that Xiao Qiao had found a good partner. He was young and promising, started a company while still in school, and earned a lot of money, so he was very interested in Li Jie. Full of praise. Looking at Xiao Qiao's relatives, Li Jie felt even more strange. None of Xiao Qiao's aunts, cousins look much like her. Li Jie is a writer of online articles and has a big imagination. He couldn't help but wonder whether Xiao Qiao was born in the wrong family with someone else. However, this was just a random guess in his mind. Even if it doesn't look like any of the relatives at home, it may still be a mutation or inheritance from one generation to the next. Just like a good-looking celebrity couple, it is possible for them to give birth to ugly children. Thinking of this, Li Jie looked towards Xiao Qiao's grandparents. He felt that Xiao Qiao was a bit similar to her grandma, but not quite. Forget it, stop thinking so wildly. After the engagement, on the morning of the 29th, Li Jie and Xiao Qiao sent Li's mother to the train station together. After taking a look at Xiao Qiao, Mother Li found a reason to put her away, and then said to Li Jie, "Xiao Jie, I think Xiao Qiao is a really good kid. Now that you two are engaged, how about you and Xiao Qiao, let's stay together, Joe, and stop being greedy." She really took a liking to Xiao Qiao. Zhou was also good, but she was too beautiful and charming, and she felt restless just looking at her. After learning that she was a third party, Mother Li had a bad impression of her. "I'll take care of it," Li Jie said nonchalantly. Seeing her son's look, Mother Li knew that he didn't take her words to heart. "Forget it, I don't want to take care of it anymore. Even if you want to take care of it, you won't listen to me. Just do whatever you want and don't regret it in the future. Mom, don't always think of the worst. Think about it, wouldn't it be nice to have a beautiful daughter-in-law to call you Mom?" Li Jie joked with a smile. "What's good? If you have some money, just work hard." Mother Li also noticed that her son had made a lot of money, his wings had become stiff, and he was completely disobedient. "By the way, your brother and Han Fei are getting married on the 15th next month. Please come back," Mother Li said again. "The company will be busy next month, so I won't participate." Li Jie shook his head and said. He doesn't want to have anything to do with his cheap brother anymore. After sending his mother away, Li Jie stayed with Xiao Qiao at her house for 2 more days. On September 1st, Li Jie and Xiao Qiao flew back to Hongcheng together. After walking out of the airport, Li Jie took a taxi to the branch office in the high-tech zone to pick up a car, and then drove Xiao Qiao back to school in his BMW 530i, which he had not driven for a long time. When he came back this time, he mainly sent Xiao Qiao back to school. It's the beginning of school again, and the school is full of freshmen carrying their luggage. The car was parked in the North Gate parking lot when Li Jie and Xiao Jiao got out of the car. They were catching up with the welcome school bus entering the school. Seeing a group of freshmen getting off the school bus and looking at the campus environment curiously and excitedly, Li Jie couldn't help feeling a little emotional. In the blink of an eye, he has been reborn for a year. In this year, he only made a small target of money. This achievement definitely embarrassed the senior reborn people. However, he has found 4 girlfriends and 1 lover. In this regard, he is barely qualified. "Husband, what are you thinking about?" Xiao Jiao asked, seeing that he was a little lost in thought. Li Jie came back to his senses and looked at her with a smile. "It's nothing. From today on, you are a sophomore." "Aren't you also a sophomore senior?" Xiao Jiao said with a smile. After saying that, she glanced at Li Jie worriedly and said, "You, a senior, are not allowed to have any ideas about beautiful junior girls." Li Jie pretended to be reminded by her. "If you didn't tell me, I would have forgotten. As a senior, do you have the responsibility to care for the junior girls?" "You dare," Xiao Jiao said coquettishly with a smile. Li Jie sent Xiao Jiao to the 4th floor of the school. When he saw an old student helping a junior girl carry her luggage and walk into the girls' dormitory grandly, he wanted to send Xiao Jiao upstairs as well. However, as soon as Li Jie walked into the dormitory door, he was stopped by the dormitory aunt. "Li Jie, you are also a senior student. Don't you know that boys can't enter the girls' dormitory?" "Auntie, how could he get in?" Li Jie pointed to the boy in front of him who was helping the schoolgirl carry her luggage. A small suitcase is not heavy at all, and he is rushing to help carry it. He must have taken a liking to the pretty schoolgirl. Volunteers are helping the freshmen carry their luggage. "Can't I help my girlfriend carry her luggage?" "No." At this time, a short girl with dark skin and wearing a pair of large framed glasses walked in with difficulty carrying a large suitcase. When Li Jie saw it, he quickly took the suitcase from the girl's hand and said, "Senior sister, let me help you." These LSPs only focus on chatting up beautiful schoolgirls, but ignore the schoolgirls who really need help. When the girl saw it, she saw a tall and handsome senior. She was a little shy and whispered, "Thank you, senior." Li Jie's height of 1.78 meters is considered relatively tall in this era, especially in the south. However, if we put it aside for more than 10 years, his height would not be considered that high. Many girls look for someone who is taller than 1.8 meters to open their mouth. Li Jie turned to the dormitory aunt and said, "Auntie, now I am also a volunteer. You can't treat me differently." "Okay, you have many ideas, go up." The dormitory aunt originally just wanted to make a joke with Li Jie and ask him to say a few nice words, but she didn't expect that he would react so quickly and find an excuse immediately. Li Jie carried the short schoolgirl's large suitcase in his left hand, and Xiao Jiao's suitcase in his right hand. Xiao Jiao and the short schoolgirl followed behind him, and the 3 of them went upstairs together. "Sister, which floor is your dormitory on?" Li Jie found that he didn't know what was in the large suitcase on his left hand. It was very heavy and it was a bit difficult for him to carry it with one hand. "My dormitory is on the 6th floor, 611. After the short schoolgirl finished speaking, she said a little embarrassedly, "Senior, is it a bit heavy? My box is full of books." "Are they all filled with books?" It seems that this is a very hard-working girl. However, Li Jie knows very well that studying hard does not mean that his grades will be good. If the learning method is wrong, no matter how hard you study, you will get twice the result with half the effort. When they reached the 4th floor, Li Jie handed the suitcase in his right hand to Xiao Jiao. "You go back to the dormitory first, I will find you later." Xiao Jiao hummed and dragged the suitcase away. After looking at Xiao Jiao's leaving figure, the short schoolgirl asked, "Senior, is this schoolgirl your girlfriend?" Yes, Li Zhe nodded. Senior, your girlfriend is so beautiful, the short junior girl said sincerely. Li Zhe smiled and said, I think so too. Let's go. The two went up 2 more floors and arrived at the 6th floor. Li Zhe sent the short school girl to the 611 dormitory. 2 girls have come to the dormitory. One girl is making the bed and the other is sitting on the bed. Seeing Li Zhe coming in with the short school girl, the 2 girls immediately focused their attention on them. Send first and fix later. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 304. Hello, classmate, my name is Chen Xian. Are you from this dormitory too? The girl sitting on the bed stood up and greeted the short school girl with a smile. The girl is very tall, 1.7 meters tall, and has good looks, about 6 points. Girls who have just entered college in this era are generally not very good at dressing up. If they are 6 points barefaced and dressed up, they will definitely look beautiful. Hello Chen Xian, my name is Tang Ting, the short school girl responded quickly. Chen Xian glanced at the girl making the bed, and then introduced to Tang Ting, this is Windsor. Hello Windsorsha, Tang Ting also said hello to Windsorsha. The girl named Windshasha seemed a bit introverted. She just nodded to Tang Ting and said nothing. At this time, Chen Xian looked at Li Zhe again and asked Tang Ting, who is this? When Tang Ting heard this, she reacted and hurriedly introduced, this is our senior who helped send me here. After saying that, she said to Li Zhe, Senior, thank you so much. By the way, Senior, what's your name? My name is Li Zhe, Li Zhe said with a smile. Okay, you've arrived at the dormitory too, so I'll leave first. After saying that, he turned around and left. Senior, can I leave your phone number? Chen Xian said suddenly. When Li Zhe heard this, he turned around again. Chen Xian smiled and explained, Senior, we don't understand anything when we first come here. Please leave your phone number so I can ask you for help if I encounter any problems. Okay, Li Zhe hesitated for a moment and then agreed. This was the first time that a schoolgirl took the initiative to ask for his phone number. He also worked as a volunteer in his previous life, helping many schoolgirls carry their luggage, but all he received were thank you cards. If there is any difference between him and his previous life, it is the change in image and temperament. Live and nourish the body, move and nourish the qi. Just like the comparison of celebrities before and after their debut, Li Zhe now is completely different from his previous life. After Li Zhe left, the girl named Windshasha glanced at Chen Xian and said, Xiao Xian, you have fallen in love with this senior. It's hard to say that I like it, Chen Xian said with a smile. I just think he's a nice person and I can make friends with him. Tang Ting thought for a while and said, this Li Zhezi has a girlfriend. Chen Xian didn't take it seriously, it's normal. Boys like this usually have girlfriends. But, Xiao Ting, how did you know? I met him and his girlfriend at the door of the dormitory. He should have come to see her girlfriend off, Tang Ting said. Is his girlfriend beautiful? Windsor asked curiously. Very beautiful. After Tang Ting finished speaking, she added, school beauty level. It seems that the senior should be a famous figure in the school, Chen Xian judged. Li Zhe went downstairs and came to Xiao Qiao's dormitory on the 4th floor. The door to the dormitory was open, so he walked in directly and found that in addition to Xiao Qiao, Bai Wei, Zhang Kaiyan, and Lu Li were also there. Seeing Li Zhe coming, they all greeted him. In fact, most of the old students returned to school on the 30th and 31st, and classes have officially begun today. Have you finished seeing off your schoolmates? Xiao Qiao said with a smile. Yeah, Li Zhe nodded. Then why didn't you chat with me for a while? Xiao Qiao joked again. Don't tell me, there is a girl in the schoolgirls' dormitory who is really good-looking, Li Jie also joked. Are you as beautiful as me? Xiao Qiao asked with an angry smile. Of course not as beautiful as you, Li Jie said while subconsciously looking around. Suddenly, his eyes narrowed. There was a white underwear hanging on the window. The underwear was a bit old. Judging from the size, it should be C+. Li Jie looked away calmly. Xiao Qiao and tomboy Zhang Qiang are both at the airport. This underwear cannot belong to them. Lu Li is skinny and doesn't seem to have a broad mind. The most likely ones are Bai Wei, Zhang Yu, and Shen Man. However, Zhang Yu would not wear such old underwear. Of the remaining two people, Bai Wei and Shen Man, Bai Wei is the most likely. Thinking of this, Li Jie glanced at Bai Wei subconsciously. She was wearing a large white t-shirt and denim shorts, and nothing could be seen. It's not that tall girls are generally relatively flat, but I didn't expect her to have an extraordinarily broad mind. Bai Wei noticed Li Jie's gaze and smiled politely at him. At over 1.7 meters tall, she is just a clothes rack, and even in ordinary clothes, she looks extremely beautiful. At this time, Zhang Yu came back and showed great enthusiasm after seeing Li Jie and Xiao Qiao. Xiao Qiao, you are back. She first greeted Xiao Qiao affectionately, and then said to Li Jie with a smile, "Big boss, can I work in your company during the winter vacation?" When Li Jie was recruiting game promoters, Zhang Yu thought 300 yuan was too little and didn't go to the interview. As a result, when she saw Huo Menjian, Luan Xiaolin and Sun Wanning making money and becoming famous, Huo Menjian and Luan Xiaolin were selected as heroines to make movies, she regretted it to death. Unfortunately, regret is over, Li Jie is no longer recruiting people. Li Jie glanced at Zhang Yu and said, "Of course you are welcome to come. A green tea with high emotional intelligence like Zhang Yu will not do well anywhere." "Well, I won't go home during the winter vacation this year and will go to Shanghai to work for you," Zhang Yu said with a smile. "By the way, will you hire game promoters this year?" "We will be hiring more people this year." When Zhang Yu heard this, his face suddenly lit up with joy, and then he heard Li Jie continue, "However, we will only recruit students from freshmen from our school, as well as the Aviation Academy and the Police Academy, and there are not many places. Only about 10 people will be hired." Li Jie plans to keep the recruitment of game promoters as a tradition and recruits about 10 people among the freshmen every year. In this way, even if he graduates in the future, Kudong Group's influence in the school will be retained. How to say that, even if he is no longer in school, his legend is still circulated in the school. With Huo Menjian, Luan Xiaolin and Sun Wanning as role models, it is estimated that this year's recruitment of game promoters will attract pretty girls among the freshmen. After staying in Xiao Qiao's dormitory for a while and making an appointment with her to have dinner together in the evening, Li Jie left. After leaving the girls' dormitory, Li Jie went to the administration building at the North Gate and sat in the principal's office for a while, checking in with Vice Principal Zhang. Although a second diploma is not necessary for Li Jie, his three girlfriends, Xiao Qiao, Lu Kaiyu, and Shen Xinyi, are still in school. Especially since Lu Kaiyu, as his personal secretary, will definitely ask for leave frequently in the future, it is still necessary to have a good relationship with the school leaders. When Li Jie left, Principal Zhang stood up and walked him to the door. After coming out of the administration building, Li Jie returned to the dormitory. Along the way, people greeted him from time to time, very warmly. In fact, Li Jie didn't know most of the people he greeted, but they all knew him. When passing by a small shopping mall, Li Jie met a freshman who was dragging his suitcase and asking for directions, so he gave him directions. Seeing the girl politely thanking her and leaving, Li Jie felt a little emotional. When these freshmen first arrived, they were relatively reserved and obedient. After one semester, when they got familiar with the campus environment, it was time to let themselves go. Returning to the dormitory, Li Jie found that only He Zhigang, Lin Jing, and Chen Baiun were there. The filming of Unexpected Realm has not yet been completed, and Yang Hao is still filming in Shanghai. The three of them were watching TV and chatting. Seeing Li Jie come in, Lin Jing smiled and said hello, Li Jie, you are back. Chen Boyun also said hello to Li Jie. But He Zhigang just nodded to Li Jie. Li Jie also pulled up a chair and sat down, chatting with the three of them for a while. He was mainly talking to Lin Jing and Chen Boyun. He Zhigang said very little. Lin Jing learned from Lin Jing that Wang Zhaiheng went on a date with his girlfriend. Li Jie didn't chat much with Lin Jing and the others. After talking for a while, he opened his laptop and started processing work emails. When he went to the administration building just now, he took the computer out of the car. After dealing with work matters for a while, when it was about 4 o'clock in the evening, Li Jie left the dormitory with his computer and went to find Xiao Jiao for dinner. Study on the 4th floor, dormitory 611. Chen Xian, who had been walking around the school all afternoon, returned to the dormitory in the evening and said to Tang Ting with a smile, Xiao Ting, you are so honorable. What's wrong? Tang Ting was sitting at the desk reading. The bookshelf above her desk is filled with books she brought. That Li Jiezi who helped you carry your luggage today, do you know how powerful he is? How famous is he in the school? Chen Xian said mysteriously. I don't know, Tang Ting said. She didn't know how to answer the call and cooperate. A popular figure in the school, Windsor said next to him. Not just a man of the hour, but a legendary figure. Chen Xian paused and sighed, I never thought that such a character could appear in our ordinary second-tier university. When Chen Xian was walking around campus in the afternoon, she met a junior sister. She curiously asked if she knew about Li Jie. When the senior sister heard that Chen Xian mentioned Li Jie, she immediately became energetic and told her all about Li Jie in a gossipy manner. Chen Xian was stunned for a while after hearing this. She now shares what she heard with her roommates. I earn 100,000 a month by writing novels. In less than a year of starting my business, I have grown from a small company to a group company with 3 or 4 companies and a market value of hundreds of millions. I have also had scandals with 2 or 3 school beauties. Listening to Chen Xian's vivid narration about Li Jie, the expressions on the faces of Tang Ting and Wenxia ranged from surprise, to shock, to disbelief, and finally they looked at each other. After Chen Xian finished speaking, she smiled and said to Tang Ting, Xiao Ting, it's very honorable to have such a powerful senior to help you carry your luggage. Tang Ting glanced at Chen Xian and said, well, Xiao Xian, don't you have more face? You also got Li Jiezhang's mobile phone number. Chen Xian smiled after hearing this, and couldn't help but feel a little proud in her heart. She told the junior sister that when Guan Li Jie asked for his cell phone number, the envious look in his eyes really made her feel very proud. Windsor asked with gossip in her eyes, Xiao Xian, are you saying that Xiao Jiao and another girl named Zhou Ziyu were together with Li Jie at the same time? Is this true? I heard that this incident caused a sensation in the whole school, so it must be true. When the junior college student told Chen Xian about Li Jie, she only briefly talked about his entrepreneurial experience, focusing on his scandals with Xiao Jiao, Zhou Ziyu, and Lu Kaiyu. Yes, Lu Kaiyu has also become a rumored heroine. Now only Shen Xinyi has not been exposed. After Chen Xian finished speaking, she looked at Tang Ting, Xiao Ting, the girlfriend of Li Jie you met today should be Xiao Jiao. Why can't it be Zhou Ziyu? Windsor asked. Zhou Ziyu has transferred to another school. When she left, she asked a tow truck to take away the Porsche that Li Jie gave her. Xiao Jiao and Zhou Ziyu, Li Jie gave each of them a Porsche. It's so generous. Chen Xian's face was full of envy. When she met Li Jie today, she felt that this boy was unusual, so she asked for his mobile phone number. Now it seems that her vision is indeed right. Li Jie is not unusual, but too extraordinary. The more Chen Xian recalled Li Jie's appearance, the more attractive she found him. She couldn't help but regret that she didn't say more words to Li Jie. Such an opportunity was too rare. What is Porsche? Is it a car brand? Tang Ting pushed up the large framed glasses on the bridge of her nose and asked a simple question. It seems to be a very expensive car brand. Windsor didn't quite understand. It's a luxury car brand, Chen Xian said. She also went to the North Gate parking lot this afternoon to look at Li Jie's white BMW 530i and Xiao Qiao's red Porsche 911 Targa 4s. The cheapest Porsche costs more than 1 million. This is also a layman who only knows a little bit about it. He doesn't even know that Porsche has cheap entry-level models. However, Tang Ting and Wen Xiaoxia were shocked when they heard this. More than 1 million for a car? After a few seconds, Windsor asked again, by the way, why did Zhou Ziyu transfer to another school? Chen Xian shook her head and said, I don't know. Maybe I am worried about the impact. After all, this incident is quite sensational. However, I heard that Zhou Ziyu seems to have transferred to the Shanghai Stock Exchange, and Li Jie's company is also in the Shanghai Stock Exchange. Tang Ting thought for a while and said, I think that Zhou Ziyu probably grew up with Li Jie because he was greedy for his money. She recalled the scene when she met Li Jie and Xiao Qiao today. She felt that the two men were very talented and beautiful, and she subconsciously had a bad impression of Zhou Ziyu, who was a third party. It's not possible that Zhou Ziyu is just greedy for money, Wen Xiaoxia said in a decisive tone. Boys all like green tea, but girls hate green tea. Are you talking about Li Zhijiang? A tall, thin girl with fair skin, good looks and temperament walked in from outside carrying toiletries. Wen Wen, have you also heard about Li Jie? Chen Xian looked at the girl who came in. This girl's name is Fang Wenwen, and she came after Chen Xian and Tang Ting. Fang Wenwen put the toiletries on the washstand at the door and said, when you were away in the afternoon, a senior came to sell English newspapers. I listened to what she said. Old students like to tell new students about school. Talk about school history? This school has no history to speak of. Famous building? Familiar alumni? It seems not. Then we can only talk about people like Li Jie, who are influential figures in the school. After all, his story is too topical. After putting away the toiletries, Fang Wenwen glanced at Chen Xian and Tang Ting, and then said, don't just focus on Li Jie's emotional scandal. In fact, it is a good thing for us that the school has such a powerful senior. It's an opportunity. How do you say it? Chen Xian asked. I heard from the senior who sells English newspapers that last semester Li Jie recruited more than 30 girls in our school and the aviation academy next door to work as game promoters. Many of the more than 30 girls have been given opportunities to film movies and commercials, and several girls have been selected to become movie heroines. Really? Chen Xian was surprised and a little unbelievable. Is there such a good thing? This is a normal college, not a film school. Of course it's true, Fang Wenwen said with certainty. There is a very popular online drama called Internet Dating. I don't know if you have seen it. It was filmed by Li Jie. The actors are all students from our school and the aviation academy next door. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 305. Those things about online dating? Tang Ting and Wen Xiaoxia both shook their heads and said they had not seen it. Chen Xian said, I know this web series is very popular on the internet. She has not watched the web series, but has only seen the edited highlights. Fang Wenwen added, in addition, Li Jie has also invested in 2 movies, one of which has started filming this summer, and the leading actors are all selected from students in our school and the aviation academy next door. Tang Ting and Wen Xiaoxia felt it was very novel, but they didn't pay much attention to it. Both of them are not good looking, and they have never wanted to be actors. Chen Xian was taken aback after hearing this. She thought she was quite beautiful. Will Li Jie hire that game promoter again? How did I know that? Fang Wenwen shook her head and said. However, even if we don't get the opportunity to act or shoot commercials, I will still have another job opportunity after graduation. During the spring recruitment this year, Kudong Group came to the school to recruit. I heard that the benefits were very good. By the time we graduate, Kudong Group will probably have developed into a well-known large company. The four girls chatted for a few more words and then stopped. Chen Xian was lying on the bed, fiddling with her phone, hesitating whether to send a text message to Li Jie to get in touch. But I don't know what to post. The edited text messages were written and deleted and written again. Finally, she asked a very formulaic question, "Senior, will your company recruit more game publicists and promoters?" After sending the text message, Chen Xian waited for a reply. But more than an hour has passed, and there is still no new message on the phone. Just when Chen Xian thought that Li Jie would not reply to her, she suddenly received a new message. She quickly opened it and was pleasantly surprised to find that it was a message from Li Jie. "This year we will recruit new students from our school, aviation college and police academy, but there are not many places, only about 10. Chen Xian was even more surprised when she heard that Li Jie said that she would recruit more game promoters, and that she would also recruit new people among the freshmen. However, there were so many freshmen in 3 schools, but only 10 were admitted, which made her feel a little stressed. There are estimated to be 10,000 to 20,000 freshmen in the 3 schools, and there must be tens of thousands of girls. This is considered to be 1 in 1,000. Although Chen Xian was very confident about her appearance, she couldn't say how confident she was when it came to choosing 1 from 1,000. Li Jie didn't stay at school for long. On the night of September 1st, after he and Xiao Jiao had eaten, they went back to the rental house and it was almost dawn. Li Jie let her go after he got over the drunkenness. Xiao Jiao's eyes were a little swollen from crying and she scolded Li Jie for being an animal and not a human being. However, indulgence comes at a cost. The next day, Li Jie slept until 11 noon, but still felt a little tired when he woke up. He also knew that he should not drink too much medicinal wine, as drinking too much would actually damage his body. But bullying Xiao Jiao to death is really fun. He really couldn't bear to quit. "I can only exercise restraint and cultivate myself for a few days." Xiao Jiao was so exhausted that she didn't wake up until the afternoon. When she woke up, she felt sore all over and her body felt like it was falling apart. "Animals, beasts," Xiao Jiao couldn't help but muttered and scolded Li Jie while rubbing his waist. She looked around and found that the beast, no, Li Jie was missing. Where did Li Jie go? He secretly made an appointment with Shen Xinyi and accompanied her to practice driving. Now Xiao Jiao, Zhou Ziyu, and Lu Kaiu all have cars. In order to treat them fairly, Li Jie also plans to give Shen Xin a sports car. But Shen Xinyi couldn't drive yet, so Li Jie could only work harder and teach her himself. He taught Shen to practice driving all afternoon, and then asked her to sign up for a driving school as soon as possible. At around 9 p.m., he asked Shen Basehan to drive Shen Xinyi back to school in a rented car. Li Jie is not going to make the matter about Shen Xinyi public anymore. If she fails to pass the college entrance examination, she can stay in school for 1 semester at most, so there is no need to make a fuss. Li Jie himself felt that it was a bit too much to catch 4 girlfriends on a school mattress. "You can't do this next time." After sleeping peacefully all night with Xiao Jiao in his arms, Li Jie took a flight back to Shanghai on the morning of September 3rd. The plane arrived at Hongqiao Airport. Li Jie followed the crowd out of the security check channel. As soon as he came out, he saw Zhou Ziyu who came to pick up the plane. She wore a long black skirt and big sunglasses. She looked really cool and beautiful standing there. Next to her stood a girl about 1.7 meters tall with short hair and dark skin who looked like a tomboy. This girl's name is Lu Ji. She is the bodyguard Li Jie found for Zhou Ziyu. She has been in the army for 5 years and is very skilled and alert. Seeing Li Jie coming out, Zhou Ziyu's pretty face immediately showed a smile and stepped forward to greet him, "Husband." Li Jie smiled, put his arms around Zhou Ziyu's waist, and walked out of the airport with her in his arms. "Are everything packed?" "Yeah," Zhou Ziyu snorted lightly. "It's packed. Okay, then I'll take you to school." After sending Xiao Jiao back to school, Li Jie also wanted to send his little lover to school. After leaving the airport, Li Jie got into Zhou Ziyu's Porsche Boxster S, while bodyguard Lu Ji followed behind the Porsche in a very humble old Jetta. The two cars drove towards Fengxian District one after the other. The school Li Jie found for Zhou Ziyu in Shanghai was Shanghai Normal University. On the Shanghai side, the liberal arts institution that is more suitable for Zhou Ziyu is the Normal University. In order to accomplish this, Li Jie really worked hard. Transferring across provinces was more difficult than he expected, especially since he wanted to choose a better school. It can only be said that his foundation in the Shanghai stock market is still too shallow. Shanghai Normal University has two campuses, Suhui and Fengxian. Fengxian is a new campus located in the university town of Fengxian, which is relatively remote and desolate. Undergraduate students generally stay here in Fengxian for their freshman and sophomore years, and then transfer to Suhui in the city during their junior year. After driving for almost an hour, we arrived at Fengxian University town. When they arrived at the school, Li Jie first took Zhou Ziyu to meet with a teacher in charge of academic affairs at the School of Foreign Languages. Of course, the person he was carrying out activities and asking for was not the teacher. The teacher was just responsible for running errands. "Teacher Zhang, Ziyu will need you to take more care of her in the future." This female teacher named Zhang is in her late 20s, not good looking, but has fair skin and a good temperament. Teacher Zhang glanced at Zhou Ziyu and agreed with a smile. "This girl is so pretty." After completing the admission procedures under the leadership of Teacher Zhang, Li Jie and Lu Ji carried their luggage together and sent Zhou Ziyu to the dormitory. Although the new campus is remote and desolate, the campus is large and the environment and facilities are also very good. There are 38 dormitories alone. When he arrived at the door of the girls' dormitory, Li Jie was stopped by the dormitory aunt. "Boys are not allowed in the girls' dormitory." Li Jie could only ask Lu Ji to send Zhou Ziyu to the dormitory to make the bed while he walked around the campus. Zhou Ziyu's dormitory was in number 412, building 8. When she came to the door of the dormitory, she knocked on the door. "Please come in," came a very nice girl from the dormitory. Zhou Ziyu opened the door and walked in with Lu Ji. They found that this was a 4-person dormitory with a bed and a table. There were 2 girls in the room. One girl was tall and fair-skinned. She was wearing cool suspenders and shorts. She was sitting at the desk by the window, applying a mixed facial mask. Her face was so dark that it was difficult to see her appearance. Another girl was lying on the bed on the right side of the door, holding a book and reading. Seeing Zhou Ziyu and Lu Ji coming in, the 2 girls focused on them. "Are you okay?" asked the girl who was applying the facial mask. She has a nice voice, and she must have been the one who asked to come in just now. "Hello, my name is Zhou Ziyu. I just transferred from another school. We will be roommates from now on. Please take good care of me." Zhou Ziyu greeted the 2 girls with a smile. "Hello Ziyu, I'm Yu Xiangzi, welcome to join our dormitory," the girl wearing the facial mask said enthusiastically, standing up. "Hello, I'm Cao Qian." The other girl's attitude was lukewarm. She is only 1.6 meters tall and is petite and cute, but she has a cold face. "Who is this?" Yu Xiangzi looked at Lu Ji behind Zhou Ziyu. "This is my cousin, Lu Ji," Zhou Ziyu said. It was too exaggerated for a student to come to school with a bodyguard, so Zhou Ziyu called Lu Ji her cousin. "Cousin." Yu Xiangzi looked back and forth between Zhou Ziyu and Lu Ji. These cousins look too different. "My cousin is so beautiful, but my cousin looks like a boy." The girl named Cao couldn't help but look at Zhou and Lu Ji a few more times. There are 4 beds in the dormitory, only the one near the door is left, and the bed on the left is still empty. Zhou and Lu Ji started busy making the bed and organizing things. Yu Xiangzi stood aside. Tsuyu, which school did you transfer from? I was at Hongchen Normal University before. Zhou turned around, glanced at her, and said with a smile. Hongchen, Yu Xiangzi was surprised. Did you transfer from another province? Transferring schools across provinces or moving from a bad school to a good school is something that ordinary people cannot do. Although she had doubts, she didn't ask any more questions. Tsuyu, why do you want to transfer to our school? My boyfriend is over here. He goes to school in Shanghai. No, he works here. Oh, that's how it is. Zhou didn't bring much, just a dozen pieces of clothes and shoes that he usually wears, as well as some cosmetics and daily necessities. The two of them packed them away in a while. After making the bed, Lu Ji jumped down from the top bunk with a little jump. Xiangzi, Cao, let me treat you tonight. Can we have a meal together in our dormitory? Zhou said to Yu Xiangzi and Cao. Okay, Yu Xiangzi glanced at Cao and agreed with a smile. However, I have to ask Jinja if she has time to participate. Yu Xiangzi said, and neatly took off the mask on her face. As soon as the mask was peeled off, a fair face was revealed. This face is not very beautiful, but it is cute and has excellent skin. It's just a soft and cute face, paired with a tall lady figure of about 1.7 meters, which is very beautiful in contrast. In fact, Cao is the same. She has a soft figure but a cold face. The contrast is also huge. It would be great if they could exchange things. After peeling off the mask, Yu Xiangzi sprayed something on her face, then she picked up her phone and made a call. After saying a few words and hanging up the phone, she said to Zhou, Ziu, Jinja said she would also participate. But she wants to bring her boyfriend with her, is that okay? The Jinja she was talking about was the girl who was not in the dormitory, named Zhao Jinja. No problem, my boyfriend will go too, Zhou said with a smile. Xiangzi, Cao, if you have family members, you can bring them over. Cao said nothing. Yu Xiangzi smiled and said, neither Sissy nor I have a boyfriend yet. Li Jie was wandering around the campus aimlessly. The school environment was indeed quite beautiful. The important thing is that there are many girls in normal colleges, and the weather is relatively hot now. The girls all wear cooler clothes, which looks very eye-catching. When passing by the public bathroom, Li Jie even saw 2 girls coming out without even wearing underwear after taking a shower. They were wearing thin, cool clothes and slippers. They really regarded the school as their own home and did not regard their classmates as their own. Outsider. To put it bluntly, Li Jie didn't go to the bathroom on purpose, but the bathroom was in the dormitory area. Li Jie walked from the dormitory area to the teaching area, and met a new student who asked for directions, but he was here for the first time, so he could do nothing to help him. After arriving at the artificial lake, he walked around the lake, blew in the wind for a while, and then received a call from Zhou. After the two met, Li Jie and Zhou continued to walk around the campus together. Accompany her to get familiar with the campus environment. The two of them walked hand in hand and turned heads very frequently. Of course, they were all looking at Zhou. Suddenly, a very beautiful girl appeared in the school, and she attracted attention. How is the dormitory environment? Li Jie and Zhou were chatting. It's pretty good. The quadruple room has a separate toilet and bathroom, but there is no hot water and there are no electrical appliances, Zhou said softly. She is very satisfied with the environment of this school, which is much better than that in Hongcheng. The important thing is that she can be with Li Jie openly, and here she is the only one who is Li Jie's girlfriend. No electrical appliances. No fans. No, I think I have to buy it myself. Xiao, how about I rent you another house near the school, Li Jie said. Zhou's house on the Bund is almost an hour's drive away. It's too boring to drive back and forth every day. No, I'll just live on campus. There are more people and it's more lively, Zhou said with a smile. Then let's go buy a fan together later. Li Jie didn't persuade him much. Yeah, Zhou snorted lightly. At around 6 o'clock in the evening, Li Jie and Zhou came downstairs to the girls' dormitory together. After waiting for a few minutes, I saw two girls, one tall and one petite, holding hands and walking out of the dormitory building. Xiangzi, Zixi, Zhou greeted the two girls with a chuckle, and then introduced, "This is my boyfriend Li Jie." After finishing speaking, he said to Li Jie, "This is Yu Xiangzi and Cao Qian. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn." Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 306. "Hello, handsome boy," Yu Xiangzi greeted Li Jie with a smile. She had heard Zhou say before that her boyfriend was already working, so she subconsciously thought he must be in his mid-20s. When I met him now, I found that the other person was very young. He looked like he was only 22 or 13 years old, and he looked like he had just graduated. Cao Qian just glanced at Li Jie and said nothing. "Hello, two beauties." Li Jie took a look at Zhou's two new roommates. The girl named Yu Xiangzi gave him the impression that she was very delicate and good at dressing up. Her appearance is not that great, but her Korean-style outfits and particularly delicate makeup cover up her flaws and shortcomings and magnify her strengths, making her look outstanding. Li Jie noticed that her knees, elbows, and ears, which are places where melanin is easy to deposit, were all blushed, and they were very natural, as if they were born. In this era, not many girls in South Korea and island countries can do this. This girl was really ahead of her time. As for the girl named Cao Qian, Li Jie's impression was that he didn't owe her any money, right? His face was too cold, and he looked half dead. The four of them left the school together through the east gate. There were many small restaurants and some snack stalls outside the east gate. They didn't go too far. On Yu Xiangzi's recommendation, the four of them went to a nearby small restaurant with a pretty good reputation and environment. When he arrived at the restaurant, Li Jie asked for a small private room, and then asked the two girls Yu Xiangzi and Cao Qian to order. Yu Xiangzi was very polite and just wanted to order two symbolic dishes, which were not expensive. Cao Qian also ordered two dishes casually. Li Jie took the menu and after asking Zhou, he ordered 5 or 6 more expensive dishes. After ordering, the four of them chatted and waited. Cao Qian talks very little and never takes the initiative to speak. She will only say a few words when asked. Yu Xiangzi was lively, enthusiastic, and talkative, chatting casually with Li Jie and Zhou. After chatting like this for 15 or 6 minutes, the waiter started to serve the food, but the girl named Zhao Jinjia and her boyfriend hadn't arrived yet. Yu Xiangzi took out her mobile phone and made a call to ask. After hanging up the phone, she said, "Jinjia said she would be there soon." They arrived right away, but the dishes were all finished. After waiting for more than 10 minutes, Zhao Jinjia and her boyfriend finally arrived. "Sorry, I'm a little late," Zhao Jinjia said with a smile as soon as she came in. It's just that she said she was sorry, but there was no apologetic expression on her face. Li Jie took a look at Zhao Jinjia and found that this girl was a little taller than Yu Xiangzi. She was taller than 165 centimeters tall, but her dress was too flashy and looked a little tacky. He looked at Zhou, Yu Xiangzi, and Cao Qian again. These four girls are all good-looking, and none of them are bad-looking. They can be regarded as good-looking dormitories. Especially when Zhou came, the appearance of the dormitory suddenly improved a lot. The person who came in with Zhao Jinjia was a 23 or 4-year-old boy with good looks. The clothes he wore were all high-end brands, with a slight arrogance on his face. Seeing Zhao Jinja coming, Yu Xiangzi introduced, "Jinja, this is Ziyu, who just transferred to our school, and this is her boyfriend Li Jie." When Zhao Jinja saw Zhou Ziyu, she was stunned for a moment, with a hint of jealousy in her eyes, and then she smiled and said, "Hello, Ziyu." As for Li Jie, she just glanced at him and didn't care. "Hello, Jinja," Zhou Ziyu also said hello to Zhao Jinja. Zhao Jinja glanced at the man beside her and introduced, "This is my boyfriend, Gu Mingcheng." Gu Mingcheng looked at Zhou Ziyu with a look of amazement in his eyes. After hearing Zhao Jinja's words, he smiled and stretched out his hand to Zhou Ziyu, "Hello, beauty, I am Gu Mingcheng." Zhou Ziyu glanced at Gu Mingcheng but said nothing, let alone shook hands with him. Li Jie stretched out his hand and shook it, "Hello." Although Gu Mingcheng acted gentle and polite, Li Jie could tell at a glance that this guy was a scumbag, and he was obviously interested in Zhou Ziyu. Why Li Jie can be so sure is because only people of the same kind understand the same kind best. But, he is not a scumbag. Li Jie didn't think he was a scumbag, he just wanted to take care of a few more girls and give them a home. He is definitely not the kind of scumbag who cheats and plays with girls. Zhao Jinja glanced at Gu Mingcheng and then at Zhou Ziyu. She also saw something and her face looked a little ugly. After Gu Mingjiu and Zhao Jinja sat down together, he put his hands on the table, and the Rolex watch on his wrist was inadvertently exposed. Li Jie glanced at the watch on Gu Mingcheng's wrist. He might not recognize it if it were any other famous watch. But this Rolex thing has become a bad thing in the future. There are fake green water ghosts on short videos every day, and it is difficult to recognize them. I don't know if this green water ghost is real or fake. However, wouldn't it be green to carry gadgets? Seeing this Rolex, Li Jie suddenly remembered that he also owned an Omega. That Omega watch was bought casually when he accidentally entered the luxury watch counter while shopping in the mall when he first won the lottery. However, after only wearing it for less than a week after buying it, Li Jie was too lazy to wear it. He is used to using his mobile phone to tell the time, but he is not used to wearing a watch. Now Li Jie has forgotten where he threw the Omega. It might be in the dormitory or the rental house. Zhou Ziyu also noticed the watch on Gu Mingcheng's hand, but for her now, how could she take a piece of green water ghost seriously? The six of them were eating and chatting. Zhao Jinja was chatting and laughing with Yu Xiangzi and Cao Qian, talking about school affairs, and showed some rejection towards Zhou Ziyu. Zhou Ziyu seemed not to notice and listened to their chat quietly. Noticing that Li Jie and Zhou Ziyu were a little left out, Yu Xiangzi smiled and raised a topic, "Li Jie, how did you catch up with Ziyu?" Hearing her question, Zhao Jinja, Gu Mingcheng, and Cao Qian all looked at Li Jie. Clearly, they are all interested in this issue. "Ziyu and I met during the dormitory party," Li Jie said and looked at Zhou Ziyu with a smile. Dormitory party, Yu Xiangzi was a little surprised when he heard this. "You and Ziyu are classmates?" "We are from the same school," Li Jie nodded and said. "Then after you met through friendship, you began to pursue Ziyu?" "How long did you pursue him?" Yu Xiangzi asked again. "Actually, I took the initiative to pursue him." Zhou Ziyu took over the words with a smile. Hearing what she said, not only Yu Xiangzi, but also Zhao Jinja, Gu Mingcheng, and Cao Qian were surprised. Zhao Jinja, who originally didn't care much about Li Jie, looked at him carefully. How could a beautiful woman like Zhou Ziyu take the initiative to pursue others? What is so attractive about this boy? He is a popular figure in our school, and I spent a lot of effort chasing him, Zhou Ziyu explained with a smile. A man of the hour? How could even a man of the hour be so outstanding in that shabby school in a remote place in Hongcheng? Zhao Jinja glanced at Li Jie again. She really didn't find anything special about this boy. He looks pretty good, not handsome, and his clothes are average. Girls from small places just don't know much. When they see boys studying better and playing better, they think they are very good. Thinking of this, a sense of superiority suddenly emerged in her heart. No matter how beautiful it is, what's the use? It's just a vase. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 307. Yu Xiangzi had a different idea than Zhao Jinjia. She looked at Li Jie and felt that this boy was unusual. The other person has a composure and maturity far beyond his peers. Besides, how could this boy be ordinary if he could be favored by a beautiful and outstanding girl like Zhou Ziyu? Li Jie, are you in school or already working? Gu Mingcheng, who was sitting next to Zhao Jinjia, suddenly took the initiative to chat. He never spoke much and acted a bit arrogant. I opened a small company here in Shanghai. Li Jie glanced at the other party. This Gu Mingcheng looks and behaves like a rich second generation, but I don't know if he is real or fake. While chatting, I heard that he had just caught up with Zhao Jinjia not long ago. Looking at your young age, you must have just graduated, right? You started a business and became the boss, which is quite impressive. Gu Mingcheng seemed to be praising Li Jie, but his tone was obviously condescending. Li Jie smiled and said nothing. What company do you run? Maybe we still have a chance to cooperate, Gu Mingcheng asked again. Mingcheng is the general manager of Huchuan Planning Group, Zhao Jinjia said. Her tone was rather smug. Shanghai Chuang Planning Group, Li Jie shook his head lightly. Never heard of that. Zhao Jinjia's expression froze, and Gu Mingcheng's face also looked a little ugly. However, Gu Mingcheng's expression quickly returned to normal, and he smiled and said, our group's main business is advertising and marketing planning, and we are quite powerful in the industry. However, Li Jie, you just came to Shanghai, so it's normal that you haven't heard of it. Li Jie nodded and did not answer. General manager? A second-generation rich man like Gu Mingcheng, who has no talent, just hangs out with a temporary job in his family's company. The really capable rich second generation are relatively low-key and busy with their careers, so they don't have the time to go around seducing girls with their green water ghosts. Besides, it's hard to tell whether Gu Mingcheng's second-generation rich identity is true or false. He always felt that there was something wrong with this kid. Seeing that Li Jie was silent, Gu Mingcheng continued, for a newly established small company like yours, it's not enough to just focus on development. You must know how to plan and do publicity, so that your company can stand out in the industry and grow bigger quickly. Be stronger. So what successful marketing planning cases has your company done? Li Jie seemed to show a little interest. Our group has been established for more than 10 years, and there are too many successful marketing cases. I have led the team to do more than a dozen marketing cases. Gu Mingcheng looked confident. Li Jie, what industry are you in? Game, a small game company, mainly produces web games. Games? Then you must have heard of Qwen Technology, right? This company is developing very fast, and it started in less than a year. When Li Jie heard this, he was stunned for a moment, with a half smile on his face. I've heard that before. Why, your company helped build Qwen Technology? Gu Mingcheng didn't notice the abnormality in Li Jie's expression, and said with a smile, Qwen Technology's Duntuntang, this game is the marketing promotion that I led the team to do, and it became popular. You helped me make the game popular, why didn't I know? Li Jie glanced at Zhou Ziyu, and there was a funny meaning in her eyes, as if to say, this liar has deceived you, the real owner. Seeing Li Jie looking at Zhou Ziyu, Gu Mingcheng also stared at her. This girl is so beautiful. That Zhao Jinjia is also good, but there is no comparison with her. How about it, do you want me to help you do some marketing and promotion for your company? Let me tell you, When making games, game quality is one aspect, but more importantly, you must be good at marketing. No matter how good the quality of your game is, it will be in vain if no one plays it. If we help you with marketing, even if your game is of average quality, it won't be difficult for you to become popular for a while. Let me think about it. Li Jie looked at Gu Mingcheng carefully and said with a smile. After finishing their meal, the six of them came out of the small restaurant together. Gu Mingcheng took out his car key and pressed it. The lights of a white BMW X5 parked on the roadside suddenly flashed twice. He glanced at Zhao Jinjia and said to Li Jie, Zhou Ziyu, Yu Xiangzi, and Cao Qian, the six of us can sit down even if we squeeze together. How about I take you back? Yu Xiangzi declined with a smile, no, we can just walk back. It's not far, so I won't delay your date with Jinjia. Okay then, Gu Mingcheng didn't say anything more. He glanced at Yu Xiangzi, then looked at Li Jie and Zhou Ziyu. Li Jie, if you think about it, call me. After saying that, he was ready to get in the car with Zhao Jinjia. Wait a minute, Li Jie suddenly called him. Do you have time now? Let's talk about cooperation. When Gu Mingcheng heard this, a hint of joy flashed in his eyes, but he quickly concealed it. Of course, let's find a place to chat. After saying that, he turned to Zhao Jinjia and said, Xiao, why don't you go back to the dormitory first, and I'll talk to Li Jie about work. Zhao Jinjia was obviously a little reluctant, but she still nodded. Li Jie also said to Zhou Ziyu, Ziyu, I won't send you back to the dormitory. Zhou Ziyu nodded obediently, then please pay attention to safety on the road. Li Jie heard the meaning of her words and smiled at her, don't worry. Li Jie and Gu Mingcheng walked towards the BMW X5 on the roadside together. When they passed by Zhao Jinjia, the other party suddenly rolled his eyes at him. He bites people randomly and doesn't know what's good or bad. However, Li Jie didn't stop Gu Mingcheng because of Zhao Jinjia. This kind of girl was deceived. Not only did she deserve it, but she also didn't deserve sympathy. The main reason was that Gu Mingcheng had deceived him and dared to take advantage of Zhou Ziyu, so he couldn't bear it anymore. After opening the door and getting in the passenger seat, Li Jie looked at the interior of the BMW X5 and said, your car is pretty good. I drive the family car just for work. Gu Mingcheng looked unconcerned. I usually drive a sports car when I go out for fun. There are 3 cars in the garage of my villa, a Land Rover, a Porsche, and a Maserati. Li Jie wanted to laugh when he heard that. He also wanted to return a villa and a luxury car. Are you renting your BMW? He took a special look before getting in the car and found that the car was a bit old and had minor scratches. The interior of the car was too clean and there were no personal decorations at all. It looks like a rental car no matter how you look at it. Thinking this in his heart, Li Jie pretended to be envious and said, it's better to be a rich second generation like you. Villas and luxury cars are available as soon as you are born without any struggle. I run a small company and it is very tiring. I don't know when I will have the money to buy a good car. Gu Mingcheng smiled and said, Li Jie, I actually envy you. What do I have to envy? If you start your own business, as long as you build the company, you will create a generation. You can spend the money you earn however you want. It's not like me, who has a nice appearance, owns a villa and a luxury car at home, and doesn't spend the money casually. It's just the living expenses every month. Besides, it's not like I don't have to struggle. If I can't make some achievements in my career, then I won't have the inheritance rights of my family's company. Otherwise, why would I work so hard? Wouldn't it be nice to be cool every day? It's easier for you to inherit the family business than it is for me to start a business. As for my small company, let alone starting it, it might go bankrupt anytime. Let me help you. This is what my buddy does. I don't know what I am, but I just see you as my friend. I am determined to be your friend. Do you want to see me fall in love? You want to be friends with me because your girlfriend is pretty, right? Li Jie said in his heart. This Gu Mingcheng is really good at fooling people. No wonder Zhao Jinja really thought he was a rich second generation. Not to mention a female student with little social experience. If he was really an ordinary small company owner, he would probably be promoted. Many scammers' deceptions are actually very clumsy. The only way they can deceive people is to capture their greed for money and their eagerness to make money. How about we find a coffee shop to sit down and chat? Which coffee shop are you going to? Gu Mingcheng said disapprovingly. You're still young and haven't played much, right? Brother, I'll take you to play and see what you're doing. I tell you, a man can't just make money, he must also enjoy it. Looking at the ungrateful smile on Gu Mingcheng's face, Li Jackson said, doesn't this guy want to take him to bring warmth to the young ladies who need help? Then he is really looking for death. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 308. Normal University, Girls' Dormitory. Yu Xiangzi was playing with cosmetics, and Cao Jian was eating snacks and reading a novel. Zhao Jinja glanced a little unhappily. Zhou Ziyu, who was sitting in front of the computer, blamed Li Jie for ruining her date. She found the toiletries and went to the public bathroom to take a shower. Zhou Ziyu is writing a novel. After taking a summer break, she finally opened a new book. The new book is called Want to See You. The idea for the novel comes from a time travel suspense drama in Taiwan, Want to See You. Li Jie has not watched this TV series. He only watched the plot explanation on the short video. Therefore, the outline he wrote only contained the main storyline and Lu Qing's time travel timeline. It was up to Zhou Ziyu to conceive and think about the specific content. She couldn't win this time if she wanted to. Zhou Ziyu wrote for an hour, and after coding 400 to 500 words, he felt a little tired. Like Li Jie, she could code 3,000 to 4,000 codes an hour and sit in front of the computer for 2 or 3 hours. She couldn't do it. After stretching lazily, she stood up and made a cup of coffee. Do you drink coffee? She asked Yu Xiangzi and Cao Jian. Thank you, no need, Yu Xiangzi declined with a smile. I won't drink, Cao Jian said without looking up while looking at the novel. Zhou Ziyu noticed the novel in Cao Jian's hand and was a little surprised. A smile is beautiful, do you like this novel? Her novel had just been published and had only been on the market for a week. Unexpectedly, she saw it in the hands of her roommate. Cao Jian raised her head and glanced at her. Well, this novel is very well written. Do you want to read it? I'll lend it to you. No, just take a look, I've seen it, Zhou Ziyu said with a smile. Did you read it online? I also read it online. I liked it very much. I heard that the novel was published, so I bought a copy to support the author. Tsuyu, which character in the novel is your favorite? Cao Jian usually talks very little, but when she talks about novels, she gets excited and the expression on her face becomes less lifeless. Tsuyu, do you have body milk? Yu Xiangzi said suddenly. Yes, what, do you want to use it? Zhou Ziyu looked at Yu Xiangzi. There were 2 thin potato slices stuck under her eyes. Well, you can lend it to me. I just ran out of body lotion. I bought it online, thinking it would arrive today, but it didn't arrive. I'll get it for you. Zhou Ziyu took out the body lotion from the makeup box on the table and handed it to Yu Xiangzi. Xiangzi, why are you putting potato slices on your face? Applying potato slices can whiten, rejuvenate, and reduce swelling. I apply it to remove dark circles. In addition, steam the potato slices and mash them into a puree, then add milk to make a potato mask and apply it on the face, which can make the skin whiter and tenderer. Yu Xiangzi took the body lotion and looked at it, and found that it was a foreign brand. This brand was not available in China. If you want to buy it, you can only go abroad or find a purchasing agent. Tsuyu, this is for you. She found a small glass bottle of medicinal powder and placed it on Joseu's table. What is this? Joseu picked up the glass bottle, opened it and looked at the powder inside. This is a medicated powder made from the traditional Chinese medicine white peony root, Atractylodes macrocephala, white peony root, and white tuckahoe root. It can be mixed into facial cleanser and used to have a whitening effect. There are also these 4 traditional Chinese medicines, which can also be boiled into soup and drunk, and they also have a whitening effect. Xiangzi, where did you learn these methods? Joseu also pays attention to skincare, but she only puts on facial masks and applies some skincare products, but she is not as attentive and delicate as you, Xiangzi. Some of these methods I learned from looking up information on the internet, and some I figured out on my own, Yu Xiangzi said with a smile. She studies how to be beautiful every day. She spends an hour or 2 dressing up. I feel tired just looking at her. Cao Qian couldn't help complaining. Xiangzi, you work too hard, no wonder your skin is so good, Joseu said with a sigh. Tsuyu, your skin is so good. Yu Xiangzi couldn't help but stretched out her hand to touch Joseu's exposed white and tender skin, full of envy. Your skin is white, tender and smooth, with no spots at all. It's really enviable. My skin is a little yellow, and I like to get acne. I tried my best to whiten it, but it's still incomparable to what you were born with. Xiangzi, can you teach me your skincare skills? Of course, but you are born with good skin, so you don't need to waste too much time on skincare. Basic maintenance is enough. I still want to learn more. Okay then, I'll teach you. So Joseu learned various skincare tips from Yu Xiangzi. Joseu knew very well that the main reason why Li Jie liked her so much was because she was beautiful. But although she is young and beautiful now, she will grow old one day. However, she can't stop herself from getting older, but she can delay the arrival of this day as much as possible. Her beauty is decreasing as time goes by, while her relationship with Li Jie is increasing. When one day, her relationship with Li Jie is deep enough and no longer needs to be maintained by beauty, then she can grow old gracefully. The BMW X5 stopped in front of a KTV, and Li Jie and Gu Mingcheng got out of the car together. Li Jie glanced at the KTV and said hesitantly, "Why don't we come here? What's wrong? Men don't come out to have fun. Let's go." After Gu Mingcheng said that, he walked inside first. Li Jie also followed the other party. "Aren't you afraid that your girlfriend will find out?" "Girlfriend?" Gu Mingcheng smiled disapprovingly. "That Zhao Jinjia and I are just playing around." "Li Jie, let me tell you, don't take women too seriously. As long as you have money, you can't find any kind of woman. Drive a better car and park it in front of the university. You will know how proactive those beautiful girls are." "Is this how you got Zhao Jinjia?" Li Jie asked. "What do you think?" Gu Mingcheng smiled. As soon as the two of them entered the KTV, the foreman in the hall greeted him with a smile. "Mr. Gu is here." Obviously, Gu Mingcheng had been to this KTV. After the foreman led the two people to a box, Gu Mingcheng ordered the other party, "My good buddy is here, call all you beautiful girls out." "Mr. Gu, you two sit down first, I'll call someone right away," the foreman said. A few minutes later, 7 or 8 scantily clad young girls walked in side by side. "Li Jie, pick the one you like first," Gu Mingcheng said to Li Jie with a smile. Li Jie looked at the 7 or 8 girls in front of him and deliberately looked like hesitant and unable to let go. To be honest, after his rebirth, he had been to a regular KTV, but this was his first time to this kind of informal KTV. "Why, you don't even like him?" Gu Mingcheng smiled when he saw Li Jie's baby appearance. "But it's no wonder, brother, your girlfriend is so beautiful, it's normal to look down on these ordinary things." After saying that, he turned to the foreman and said, "My brother is not satisfied, please change a batch. This time I'll call you, the most beautiful girl, out." If my brother is still dissatisfied, don't blame me for ruining your situation. Okay, Mr. Gu, please wait a moment, the foreman said quickly. After 7 or 8 girls went out side by side, after waiting for a while, 4 more girls walked into the box. Although there were fewer people this time, the quality was much higher. Some of the 4 girls were tall, some were petite, and all had good looks. There was one who was not even worse than Zhao Jinjia. She was tall and had a pure temperament, which made Gu Mingchen's eyes light up. Manager Zhang, why didn't you call out to such a beautiful woman when I came here last time? Gu Mingcheng said to the foreman, a little dissatisfied. Mr. Gu, Xiaoman is working for the first time today, the foreman explained. I'll choose this one, Li Jie pointed at the girl named Xiaoman and said. Okay, as long as you like it, Gu Mingcheng smiled a little unnaturally. Seeing that this girl was so beautiful, he was a little reluctant to give it to Li Jie. Good stuff like this doesn't come across very often. He glanced at Li Jie and felt that this boy was pretending. He was acting coy just now. Why did he become happy as soon as he saw the beautiful one? Among the remaining 3 girls, Gu Mingcheng chose a girl named Xiru, who was petite and good-looking. The 2 girls who were not selected went out. Xiaoman and Xiru came to sit down next to Li Jie and Gu Mingcheng respectively. The girl named Xiru, after sitting down next to Gu Mingcheng, skillfully opened bottles, poured wine, and persuaded him to drink. Gu Mingcheng smiled and held Xiru in his arms, letting her sit on his lap. The girl named Xiaoman was a little reserved, sitting next to Li Jie. When she saw Xiru opening a drink for Gu Mingcheng, she quickly opened the drink and poured a glass for Li Jie. Brother Li, drink, she handed the wine to Li Jie. Li Jie glanced at her, took the wine and took a sip. Such a beautiful bartender princess would be rare to see in 10 years. Many beautiful ladies have changed careers and become anchors. The rise of self-media has caused a serious decline in the quality of young ladies who have fallen behind. Li Jie was drinking the wine poured by Xiaoman while chatting with Gu Mingcheng about cooperation. Seeing that Li Jie was very well behaved and didn't take any advantage, Xiaoman gradually relaxed and poured him wine and fed him fruits with peace of mind. Gu Mingcheng's hands wandered around Xiru's body. He glanced at Xiaoman, and then said to Li Jie, brother, come out to play. It's boring if you can't let go. Isn't it a waste to order such a beautiful lady and not even touch her? I think this is good, Li Jie said with a smile. Why do you care about your girlfriend? But she doesn't know. Gu Mingcheng patted Xiru's butt and said with a smile, this is the first time for my brother to come here. He can't let go. Go and help him. Then he said to Xiaoman, beauty, come here, let's drink together. Okay, Xiru smiled and got up from Gu Mingcheng. Rather than spending time with Gu Mingcheng, a veteran, she would rather tease Li Jie, a first-timer. Besides, Li Jie is also taller and more handsome than Gu Mingcheng. Xiaoman glanced at Gu Mingcheng, but his expression was obviously reluctant. No need, I still prefer Xiaoman. Li Jie glanced at Xiaoman with a smile, then stretched out his hand to hold her in his arms. The moment Xiaoman was hugged by Li Jie, Xiaoman's body stiffened, but soon relaxed again. After hearing what Li Jie said, the smile on Xiru's face froze for a moment and then recovered. Gu Mingcheng glanced at Li Jie and smiled unnaturally, okay, as long as you can let it go and have fun. He felt that Li Jie was a bit dishonest. Is this his attitude of asking for help? The two played in the KTV for more than an hour. Li Jie just hugged Xiaoman, drank wine, and ate fruit. On the other hand, Gu Mingcheng became more and more wanton, even putting his hand into Xiru's clothes. How about we stop here today, Li Jie said to Gu Mingcheng. He has almost finished what he said, so there is no need to waste any more time. Gu Mingcheng took his hands out of Xiru's clothes, his expression obviously unhappy. How about we go have some midnight snacks together? Xiru smiled and agreed, okay. Xiaoman refused, Brother Gu, I have to go to work, so I won't go. After the three of them came out of the KTV together, Gu Mingcheng hugged Xiru and said to Li Jie with a smile, "Brother, then I will go to your company tomorrow morning." The two had just negotiated, and tomorrow Gu Mingcheng would take people to Li Jie's company to investigate and formally discuss cooperation matters. "Okay, we'll see you tomorrow," Li Jie also said with a smile. "See you tomorrow? I can only go to the detention center to see you tomorrow." Gu Mingcheng put his arms around Xiru and got into the BMW X5, then drove away. After the car was gone, Li Jie came to a black Volkswagen on the side of the road, opened the passenger door and got in the car. Mr. Li, sitting in the driver's seat was Shen Baishan. Li Jie nodded to Shen Baishan, "Is the locator installed in the car?" As early as during the meal, he discovered that Gu Mingcheng was a liar, so he sent a message to call Shen Baishan over. "The locator is installed under his car," Shen Baishan said. "Drive, let's follow him," Li Jie said. Shen Baishan drove the car and quickly caught up with the BMW X5 according to its positioning. That is to say, there is a positioning, otherwise it will be easy to lose track at night. 5 or 6 minutes later, the BMW X5 stopped in front of a small hotel. After seeing Gu Mingcheng carrying Xiru into the small hotel, Li Jie said to Shen Baishan, "When you enter, say that you are Gu Mingcheng's friend, ask the front desk for their room numbers, and then call the police." Shen Baishan nodded, indicating that he understood, and then got off the car. "Wait a minute," Li Jie called him again. "This kid has definitely deceived more than one person. Tomorrow you go to the sales desk to check his cell phone call records, and then call them one by one to determine who the deceived girls are, and ask them to go to the police station to pick them up. If you have the other party's mobile phone number and go to a small business office to spend some money, you can easily check the call records. Then several deceived girls will go to the police station to pick up their victims at the same time, which will be fun." Li Jie continued, "Also, go to the Huchuan planning group. Gu Mingcheng should have worked in this company. See if you can find his former colleagues and learn more about him. By the way, the name Gu Mingcheng may not be his real name." After hearing this, Shen Baishan nodded again to express his understanding, then opened the door and got out of the car. Seeing Shen Baishan also walk in, Li Jie changed to the driver's seat and drove away. Why didn't Li Jie expose Gu Mingcheng on the spot while eating? Why did he have to go through so much trouble? Because they were not close to each other. It was only the first time for Li Jie, Yu Xiangzi, Cao Qian, and Zhao Jinjia to meet. He suddenly said that Gu Mingcheng was a liar. Who would believe him? Especially Zhao Jinjia. She definitely trusts her boyfriend more than Li Jie, an outsider. When the time comes, they will break up unhappy without saying anything, and they will also alert others. As for calling the police, when calling the police, you also need to provide evidence, and the police will not believe you even if you talk with blank teeth. Originally, Li Jie just wanted to get more words out of Gu Mingcheng tonight, and then asked Shen Baishan to investigate and contact the deceived person to call the police. Who would have thought that this kid went to a KTV and brought the princess to the stage? This would be easier to handle. It would be easier to call the police first and send this guy in, and then investigate him later. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 309. Li Jie had not driven far when he received a message from Shen Baishan. Gu Mingcheng had already gotten into the police car and was taken away by the police. He smiled, put down his cell phone, stepped on the accelerator, and accelerated towards Lujia's Y. As the car approached the community, Li Jie received a call from Luan Xiaolin. Now she has been transferred to the crew of Crazy Lottery. The crew's preparatory work has been completed and filming will officially start tomorrow morning. Luan Xiaolin had a start-up meal with the crew tonight. "Honey, how about I come over to accompany you, After Luan Xiaolin heard that Li Jie had returned to Shanghai and no one was with him, she immediately expressed her intention to come over. Li Jie looked at the time and found that it was already 11 o'clock in the evening. "Aren't you going to film tomorrow?" The hotel the crew of Crazy Lottery rented was a bit far from his house in Lujiazhuai. "It's okay. It won't be turned on until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning." After hearing what Luan Xiaolin said, Li Jie no longer refused. Who wants to stay alone in an empty room with a beautiful woman by his side? After returning to the apartment, Li Jie took a bath first, and then opened a bottle of red wine to wake up. After he sat on the sofa for a while, the doorbell rang and Luan Xiaolin came. She seems to particularly like wearing black skirts. Today she wore another black dress and held a red bag in her hand. She looked cool and glamorous. "Husband." As soon as Luan Xiaolin saw Li Jie leaving, she rushed towards him with enthusiasm, and all her coolness was gone. Who wouldn't like a lover who is aloof in front of others but proactive in others? Li Jie and Luan Xiaolin were affectionate and entangled for a while. When he was about to touch her skirt, she stopped him. "Husband, be gentle and don't tear your skirt." "It's okay. If you tear it, I'll buy you a new one. But I have to wear this dress at the opening ceremony tomorrow." When Li Jie heard that it was the clothes to be worn at the launch ceremony, he immediately became more interested. "Pa," he slapped her on the butt. "Then if you cooperate a little bit, your clothes won't be ruined." "Yeah," Luan Xiaolin bit her lip and hummed softly. "The skirt cannot be torn off, but the stockings can still be torn off." After struggling for more than 40 minutes, we were now on the sofa, then turned off the lights and went to the balcony. Another new black pair was torn, crumpled, and thrown carelessly to the ground. After Luan Xiaolin got up from the floor, she hurried to the bathroom. Li Jie returned to the sofa and sat down. He picked up the sobered red wine and poured a glass of it. He drank it slowly while waiting for Luan Xiaolin. If Luan Xiaolin hadn't been filming tomorrow, he would never have let her go. But if the heroine is injured and limping, how can she still film? After a while, Luan Xiaolin washed her face, brushed her teeth, and took off her makeup before coming out of the bathroom. With her makeup removed, she looks less glamorous and more innocent like the girl next door. She also looks a lot younger. After all, she is the same age as Zhou Ziyu and has just turned 18 this year. After Luan Xiaolin sat down, Li Jie poured her a glass of wine. "For the promotion of the way of the gods, we need to choose a spokesperson with a good image, and I have appointed you." "Honey, you are so kind." When Luan Xiaolin heard this, her eyes suddenly lit up, and she kissed Li Jie on the face with excitement. "Don't be too happy, the endorsement fee isn't much." "Husband, I'm willing to play your company's games even if I don't have any money." Li Jie glanced at Luan Xiaolin. "If you had waited until you became famous and endorsed a game for hundreds of millions, you wouldn't have said that." Shenxian Dao was launched on the Qwen platform in July. Although its performance cannot be compared with Dandan Tang, it is not worse than Tower Defense Three Kingdoms. At present, the Qwen game platform already has 3 self-made games, Dandan Tang, Shenxian Dao, and Tower Defense Three Kingdoms, as well as 6 agent games. There are games promoted in cooperation with other big game platforms, and there are also games produced by small game companies, most of which are not very popular. Although agent games don't make as much money as self-made games, they can still bring 10 to 20 million in revenue to Qwen Technology every month. Qwen Technology's monthly revenue has reached 134 million. However, the more you earn, the more you spend. The company has more and more employees, and the salary and bonus expenses are also increasing. Servers are increasing every day. Maintenance and leasing costs are a big expense, as well as platform and game promotion expenses, etc. So it seems that the scale of the company has expanded, but the actual profit has not increased much. In addition, there are 5 web games under production including Divine Comedy, Business Tycoon, Clash of Clans, Legend Resurrection and Witch. Among them, Legend Resurgence is a legendary nostalgic web game. Liege's bottom line was further lowered, but he still created a legendary nostalgic web game. The main reason is that the online game Legend of Krypton is so profitable now, and the people below are always giving suggestions, so Liege still compromised. As for the game Witch, the game idea came from a witch farming novel that Liege had read. It is a fantasy war strategy game. However, the main selling point of this game is the same as Tower Defense 3 Kingdoms, which is card drawing. Just replace the general with a witch. If players want more beautiful witches with better attributes, they can only spend money to draw cards. These 5 web games in production, Divine Comedy, Business Tycoon and Clash of Clans will all be launched in October and November this year. As for Legend Resurrection and The Witch, we have to wait until early next year. In addition to web games, CalmProtagonist's first self-made large-scale 3D online game has also been launched. The game is called Magic Coming. The background of the game is that evil dragons and demons invade the mainland, and the brave men on the mainland find 7 legendary weapons to fight against the evil. The plan for this game was entirely made by the company's planning team, and Liege did not interfere at all. The game refers to large-scale fantasy online games on the market such as Dragon Nest and Magic Realm. CalmProtagonist chose to make fantasy games mainly because the agency rights for Dragon Nest were not negotiated in the end and were acquired by another large domestic game company at a higher price. However, although the agency rights for Dragon Nest were not obtained, the agency rights for another game called Tower of Ion were obtained in South Korea. Liege has never played the game Ion and has little impression of it. He will choose this game mainly because it is well made and playable. If it is well run, it may be more promising than Dragon Nest. Liege put down his wine glass, found a bank card, and handed it to Luanxilan. This card has a limit of 50,000 to 60,000 yuan. I will repay it every month. You take the flowers. Husband, I'm not short of money, you don't have to give me money. Luanxilan did not accept the bank card. Her family is relatively well off, with monthly living expenses of more than 3,000 yuan. After signing a contract with Cuckoo Entertainment, she also has a basic salary of more than 2,000 yuan per month for newbies. Coupled with the remuneration she received from filming, she now earns almost 60,000 to 70,000 yuan. In Crazy Lottery alone, Luanxilan earned 50,000 yuan as the heroine. This is because she is a newcomer and is not famous, so she gets the least money, while other leading actors get more than her. Therefore, Luanxilan is really not short of money and doesn't care much about money. She wants to be famous, become a star, and be popular. In addition, Luanxilan didn't want to take Liege's money, which made her feel like she was being kept. Seeing that Luanxilan refused to accept it, Liege took her little hand and slapped the bank card in her hand. Just take it when I tell you to. You have to be obedient, okay? After hearing what Liege said, Luanxilan glanced at him, said and held the bank card obediently. That's right, Liege smiled with satisfaction, stretched out his hand to hold Luanxilan in his arms, and began to play with her beautiful legs. Nowadays, he has less and less patience to coax girls. He likes girls who are obedient and well-behaved. He doesn't have the patience to deal with the kind who get emotional and lose their temper when nothing happens. What can you do with that little money? If you want to become a star, you must first learn how to dress yourself up. Buying high-end clothes, cosmetics, and doing care and maintenance all require money, Liege explained to Luanxilan. He was still happy to coax this obedient little lover. Yes, Luanxilan nodded obediently again. Liege glanced at her and then said, "You are the heroine now. You don't even have an assistant when filming. It's not like that. I will provide you with a nanny car, an assistant, and a makeup stylist. Husband, "You are so good to me." Luan Xiaolin smiled, hooked her arms around Li Zhe's neck, and took the initiative to kiss him. Li Zhe and Luan Xiaolin kissed passionately for a while. He felt that she was a little restless and patted her on the butt. "Stop making trouble, it's getting late, go to bed early, we have to go to the set tomorrow." He had to cultivate his moral character for a few days and couldn't indulge too much. "Husband, are you going tomorrow too?" Luan Xiaolin asked. "I'm an investor and I'm going to attend the ribbon cutting." After Li Zhe finished speaking, he carried Luan Xiaolin and walked to the bedroom. The next morning, Li Zhe and Luan Xiaolin came to the set and participated in the opening ceremony of the movie Crazy Lottery. Director Yang Qing, leading actors Su Zheng, Luan Xiaolin, etc., as well as investor and producer Li Zhe, and other creative staff were all present. Turn on the camera and burn incense to worship God. Under the leadership of the director, the crew members took the incense one by one, came to the statue of Guangong with tributes, worshipped, and then inserted the incense into the incense burner. After worshipping God, Li Zhe and director Yang Qing lifted the red cloth of the camera and announced the start of the camera. Before the official filming started, there was also a media interview. Not many media came, and the reporters mainly asked questions about director Yang Qing, Su Zheng, and the leading actor who debuted in the talent show. Although Luan Xiaolin is beautiful, she is a newcomer, has no reputation and no topics, so no media pays attention to her. Only one reporter asked her what she thought. Luan Xiaolin said modestly that she was still a newcomer and needed to learn more from her seniors. Li Zhe looked on and nodded. His performance was pretty good, he looked like a star. After attending the opening ceremony, Li Zhe went to Hongqiao Airport again in the afternoon. His personal secretary, another long-legged Lu Kaiyu, is here and he is going to pick him up at the airport. After receiving Lu Kaiyu, Li Zhe received a call from Shen Baishan while eating out with her. He has investigated it clearly. The reason why the investigation was possible so quickly was that Li Zhe sent Lu Ji to cooperate with Shen Baishan. After investigation, Shen Baishan found that Gu Mingguo was not the boy's real name. His real name is Gu Yk, and he is not the general manager of Huchuan Planning Group. He is just an ordinary employee who resigned from the company more than 2 months ago. From Gu Yk's former colleague, Shen Baishan got his other mobile phone number. Shen Baishan went to the small business hall and printed out the call records of the 2 mobile phone numbers in the past 3 months. Then he found out the numbers with more calls and called them one by one, pretending to be friends of Gu Yk and Gu Mingcheng. In the end, 5 defrauded victims were found, including Zhao Jinjia, that's 6. Among them were female college students, female white-collar workers, housewives, and a female boss of a small company. Of these 5 people, some were defrauded out of 10,000 to 20,000 yuan, and some were defrauded out of 30,000 to 400,000 yuan. Moreover, these should only be some of the people who were deceived. Gu Yk must have more than these 2 mobile phone numbers. After listening to Shen Baishan's words, Li Zhe asked, "Are you using fake real name cards when making phone calls?" In this era, real name phone cards were not mandatory for mobile phone cards. You could buy a non-real name phone card at a roadside stall for 50 yuan. All the calls I made today, as well as calling the police last night, I made using non-real name cards, Shen Baishan said on the phone. That's good. Li Zhe is a man who does good deeds without leaving his name behind. Use your non-real name card to call the police station where Gu Yk was detained and report him as a fraudster. After calling the police, you call the 5 people who were deceived and ask them to go to the police station to pick up their boyfriends at the same time. Let's give that Zhao Jinjia one too. Li Zhe thought for a while and added Zhao Jinjia. Okay, Shen Baishan nodded on the phone. After hanging up the phone, Li Zhe smiled and shook his head. On the morning of September 5, Zhao Jinjia was teaching. After receiving a phone call, she hurried to the police station. Her boyfriend Gu Mingcheng went to find the lady and was caught by the police. How could this happen? When I thought about the night of the 3rd, Gu Mingcheng and Li Jie went to discuss business together. Zhao Jinjia suspected that Li Jie took Gu Mingcheng there. How could Mingcheng go to find those unscrupulous women? She immediately felt extremely disgusted with Li Jie. More than 40 minutes later, Zhao Jinjia arrived at the police station. As soon as she entered the door, she said to the police, "Hello, I am Gu Mingcheng's girlfriend. Has he been arrested?" When the young policeman heard this, he was stunned for a moment. "You are here to see Gu Yk, right?" "It's not Gu Yk, it's Gu Mingcheng," Zhao Jinjia said quickly. "It's the same, Gu Mingcheng is Gu Yk." The young policeman said, pointing to the waiting seat beside him, "You are his 4th girlfriend. There have been 3 before you, and there are probably more after you." Zhao Jinjia was confused when she heard this, and subconsciously looked in the direction pointed by the young policeman. "I saw 3 young women in their 20s and 30s sitting on the waiting seats." After more than 3 hours of recording, Zhao Jinjia was still a little confused when she came out of the police station. The rich 2nd-generation boyfriend she found turned out to be a liar. There are 6 victims who have been identified, and it is unknown how many more have not been discovered. Compared with the other 5 victims, they lost as little as 10,000 to 20,000 yuan and as much as 30,000 to 400,000 yuan after being defrauded of money and sex. She was the luckiest one. Not only was she not defrauded of money and sex, but she also got a bag worth several thousand yuan from the scammer. When she thought of this, Zhao Jinjia suddenly remembered that on the night of the 3rd, she was originally going to spend the night with Gu Mingcheng. No, it was Gu Yk who went out to spend the night, but luckily Li Jie stopped her. Li Jie. Zhao Jinjia felt inexplicably complicated. At this time, the door of a black Volkswagen parked on the roadside was opened. A middle-aged man stepped out of the car and called her. "Classmate Zhao Jinjia. Do you know me?" Zhao Jinjia came back to her senses and glanced at the man. The middle-aged man did not answer, but took out a business card and handed it to her. Zhao Jinjia took the business card doubtfully and saw it read, "President of Kudong Group, Li Jie." "Classmate Zhao Jinjia, Mr. Li asked me to tell you to keep your eyes open in the future." After saying that, Shen Bai's hand turned and left. Zhao Jinjia froze on the spot holding the business card, with an extremely complicated expression on her face. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanjie. Chapter 310. Zhao Jinjia returned to the dormitory absent-mindedly. Yu Xiangzi glanced at her and felt that something was wrong with her state. "Jinjia, you didn't go out with your boyfriend." When Yu Xiangzi mentioned Gu Mingcheng, no, it was Gu Yk, Zhao Jinjia immediately reacted, looked around and asked, "Where is Zhou, Ziyu?" "Ziyu? I haven't seen her come back. She must have gone to find her boyfriend. There is no class today on Friday afternoon, and tomorrow and the next 2 days are weekends." Tsuya came back at noon, took some things and left Cao Qian said suddenly. Zhao Jinjia looked obviously disappointed after hearing this. She pulled up her chair, sat down at the desk, opened her laptop, and searched for Kudong Group, and a lot of relevant information popped up. Fun technology. Fun gaming platform. Dunton Hall, The Way of the Immortals, Tower Defense 3 Kingdoms. It turns out that Li Jie's game company is Fun One Technology. When I think of the night on the 3rd, Gu Yk boasted in front of Li Jie that he helped create Dunton Hall with marketing. She also showed off that Gu Yk was the general manager of Huchuan Planning Group, and Zhao Jinjia felt extremely embarrassed on her face. Damn general manager, that liar is just an ordinary wage earner. What does Li Jie think of her in his heart? You must think she is very funny. Zhao Jinjia browsed the messages one by one, and suddenly a piece of news attracted her attention. Actor Su Zheng's first directorial work Uncanny Alien Space will start filming in Shanghai on July 3. This is old news. Zhao Jinja read the news and found that the investor of the movie was Cuckoo Entertainment and the heroine was Wang Zhaining. Cuckoo Entertainment is a company under Kudong Group. And Wang Zhaining is the most famous school beauty in their school. Wang Zhaining was originally only slightly famous in school, but after participating in the selection of the most beautiful school beauties in national colleges and universities, she won third place and was also selected as the heroine of the movie, which made her famous all of a sudden. He completely became a celebrity in the entire Normal University and the entire university town. Countless students from her own school, other schools, the rich second generation in society, and wealthy people came to chase her. After her phone number was passed around to her classmates, the harassed person had no choice but to change her number. There was also a second-generation rich man outside the school who drove a luxury car and carried a trunk full of roses to the downstairs of the girls' dormitory and publicly confessed his love to her. Wang Zhaining is now definitely recognized as the campus beauty in the entire university town. Wang Zhaining was actually promoted by Li Jie, Zhao Jinja murmured. For 2 days over the weekend, Li Jie went to Sanya for a vacation with Zhou Ziyu and Lu Kaiyu. I didn't go to crowded tourist spots. Zhou Ziyu and Lu Kaiyu were wearing bikinis. If others noticed, he would be in big trouble. Li Jie rented a sea view villa on the beach. Li Jie felt indescribably comfortable as he hugged his secretary and his lover, who were only wearing bikinis, and sat under the arbor on the beach, blowing the sea breeze. Honey, let's drink some coconut juice. Zhou Ziyu inserted the straw into the open coconut and handed it to Li Jie. She was wearing a black bikini, and her beautiful figure was clearly visible, and her white and tender skin made the scumbag, no, Li Jie fall in love with her. Li Jie took a sip of coconut milk. To be honest, it didn't taste good. On the other side, Lu Kaiyu was not to be outdone, peeled a rambutan and fed it to Li Jie. She was wearing a blue bikini and a pair of white, straight long legs, completely exposed to the air, which made the scumbag, no, Li Jie couldn't put it down. Drinking the coconut juice handed over by Zhou Ziyu and eating the fruit fed by Lu Kaiyu, Li Jie felt that this should be the happiness of the rich. Like the protagonists in those rebirth novels, they are busy making money every day but don't enjoy it. So what's the point of making more money? Li Jie immediately decided to buy a villa on the beach and find an opportunity to bring Xiao Qiao and Shen Xinyi here together. He would accompany the four of them on vacation. He doesn't smoke, drink, or eat. He just likes to take care of a few beautiful girls. It's just a little hobby, isn't it too much? After enjoying the services of Zhou Ziyu and Lu Kaiyu for a while, Li Jie felt a little embarrassed to only have them serve. Let me put some sunscreen on you too. We just passed by. Let me wipe it for you too again. The sun is too poisonous. Don't tan you too. Li Jie picked up the sunscreen and poured it into his hand, while helping Zhou Ziyu and Lu Kaiyu apply sunscreen. It's just that his technique is very unprofessional. He only focuses on one or two areas and doesn't know where to change. After a while, Zhou Ziyu bit her lip and said, "Honey, are you applying sunscreen?" Li Jie didn't speak, but continued to help her apply sunscreen. Lu Kaiyu glanced at the two of them, blushed and said, "I'm going to go for a walk in the sea." After saying that, she got up and left. Seeing that his little secretary was about to run away, Li Jie reached out and grabbed her back. "I haven't finished applying it for you yet. I don't need you to apply it." "No need. Honey, let me help you." Zhou Ziyu, the accomplice, held Lu Kaiyu's waist with both hands and controlled her movements. "Li Jie, don't do this. Let me go," Lu Kaiyu begged Li Jie while trying hard to break free from Zhou Ziyu's restraints. Zhou Ziyu hugged her tightly. The two men struggled together. Li Jiaxiao watched the two of them fight. It was really a pleasure to watch two beautiful girls fight, especially two beautiful girls in bikinis. Husband, help me quickly, Joseo asked for help. Lucayo loves to dance and exercise, and her physical fitness is very good. She is really no match for her. However, after Leja came off the field and favored the side, Lucayo immediately lost. Generally girls cannot compare to boys in terms of physical strength. Not to mention, Leja's physical fitness is excellent. Leja, how could you help her bully me? Lucayo felt aggrieved. What did you call me? Husband. Would you like me to put on sunscreen for you? Lucayo said nothing. She regretted coming on vacation. Seeing that Lucayo didn't speak, Leja smiled and said, Xiaoyu, if you don't speak, I'll take it as your consent. After saying that, he helped Joseo and Lucayo apply sunscreen at the same time. On September 6th and 7th, I spent 2 days at the beach. During the day on the 8th, Leja spent another day shopping in the city with Joseo and Lucayo, buying some specialties and souvenirs. In the evening, the three of them took a plane back to Shanghai together. On Tuesday the 9th, after class in the morning, Joseo returned to the dormitory with the specialty fruits brought back from Sanya. Xiangzi, Sissy, come and eat some fruit. Joseo, Yu Xiangzi, Caogn, and others are in the same dormitory, but they are not in the same major. Joseo studied English, non-normal education, Yu Xiangzi and Caogn studied English, normal, and Zhao Jinja studied Japanese. Millet banana, rambutan, durian, lotus mist, Ziu, have you traveled to Hainan? Yu Xiangzi glanced at the fruits in Joseo's hand. Well, I went to Sanya, Joseo said while sharing fruits with Yu Xiangzi and Caogn. At this time, Zhao Jinja also came back from get out of class. When she saw Joseo, a smile immediately appeared on her face. Ziu, are you back? Joseo glanced at Zhao Jinja and nodded to her. Zhao Jinja came over again and said, Ziu, can I eat this fruit? Of course, we are all roommates. Joseo also gave Zhao Jinja some fruits. Yu Xiangzi and Caogn both looked at Zhao Jinja in surprise. Zhao Jinja is not the type to beg for food from others. Besides, doesn't she and Joseo not get along? Tsuyu, have you eaten? Zhao Jinja said again. Not yet. Then let's go have dinner together. Xiangzi, Qian, have you eaten? Joseo turned to ask Yu Xiangzi and Caogn. I haven't eaten yet. Then let's go eat together. So, the four of them left the dormitory together and went downstairs to the cafeteria. On the way, I saw Zhao Jinja holding Joseo's arm and talking to her warmly, even a little bit to please her. Yu Xiangzi and Caogn looked at each other in surprise, wondering why Zhao Jinja's attitude suddenly changed. Joseo glanced at Zhao Jinja, and she guessed the reason for the change in her attitude. Leja must have done something behind the scenes. Joseo did not refuse Zhao Jinjiera's move to establish a relationship. She likes to have best friends the most. Time passed day by day, and in the blink of an eye, Joseo had transferred to another school for half a month. At Normal University, Joseo also gained some fame. She drives a very cool sports car, and she is very beautiful. She has such a beautiful car that it is difficult not to attract attention. In this era, even in Shanghai, there are not many girls driving sports cars. Students with good deeds call her and Wang Haining the two campus beauties of the Normal University. However, Joseo is only somewhat famous in school, but not in the university town, far less famous than Wang Haining. There was some trouble because of the Porsche sports car. Some girls who were jealous of Joseo spread rumors that she was kept by a man and became a mistress. Where else would she get a luxury car? Although it was spread privately, the impact was very bad. Many students who didn't know the truth actually believed it and followed suit. After Zhao Jinja found out about this, she broke into the dormitory of the girl who spread the rumor and beat her up. She also said that she would beat anyone who dared to spread rumors or speak ill of her good friends again. The result of the beating was that Zhao Jinja, Zhou Ziyu, and the girl who spread the rumor were all interviewed by the teacher. Zhao Jinja and the girl who spread the rumor both received a warning within the school. After this incident, no one dared to spread rumors about Zhou Ziyu anymore. Anyone with any sense can see that she is not easy to mess with. And Zhao Jinja is also famous in school, and everyone knows that she and the school beauty, Zhou Ziyu, are inseparable besties. Starting from the 20th, Zhou Ziyu took 10 days of leave. The publisher of A Little Smile is Charming cooperated with Cuckoo Entertainment to organize a nationwide book signing event for her. The signing locations are mainly universities in major cities such as Beijing, Shanghai, Hangzhou, Hongqiang, and Rongcheng. At the same time, Cuckoo Entertainment announced that it has purchased the film and television rights of Wei Wei and will start filming a TV series in the near future. The male and female leads will be auditioned before filming begins. However, Cuckoo Entertainment was just a newly established small entertainment company and was not taken seriously. After the news was announced, no one in the industry paid attention to it. However, many Wei Wei novel fans were very excited after hearing about it. They argued in the Wei Wei forum about which male and female stars were suitable to play Xiao Nai, Bei Weiwei, and ER11. After returning from vacation in Sanya, Li Zhe no longer indulged in women and focused more on the company. As the company grew larger and larger, he felt that his abilities were insufficient, so he also signed up for an MBA training class at the business school of Aurora University. The semester lasts for 1 year, with 2-3 days of intensive teaching each month. Participants in the study are all middle and senior managers working in enterprises and institutions. This can also be regarded as a platform to expand your network. On the morning of September 18, Li Zhe was in the office looking through several game planning documents sent by the planning team members. These planning books include martial arts and fairy games, war strategy games, business simulation games, etc. The Legend of Westward Journey obviously borrows from Fantasy Westward Journey. However, most of the domestic turn-based Xiangxia games could not escape the formula of Westward Journey and Fantasy Westward Journey. Li Zhe picked up a pen, briefly revised the planning book, and put it aside. He picked up the planning book for the war strategy game again and found that it was based on the theme of the Three Kingdoms. As a war strategy game with the theme of the Three Kingdoms, Li Zhe immediately thought of a game called Siege the City. This game seems to have been popular for a while. So he added some game settings from Siege the City into the planning book, and changed the name of the game to Siege the City. Putting this plan aside, Li Zhe picked up the plan for the business simulation game again. This is a star development game called Star of Tomorrow. Seeing this game plan, Li Zhe thought of Luan Xiaolin. Ordinary people can only play the celebrity development game, but rich people can play the real-life version of celebrity development. Thinking about it, it would be quite a sense of achievement to really cultivate Luan Xiaolin into a first-line star. It's hard, though. In later generations, there will only be a few first-tier actresses. After finishing all the planning documents, Li Zhe leaned back on his chair and breathed a sigh of relief. After these games were produced, some were popular for a while, and some were only moderately popular, but none of them had the same phenomenal potential as Duntuntang. In fact, Li Zhe also realized that the development of Qwen technology had entered a bottleneck period. If we want to break through the bottleneck period as soon as possible and turn Qwen technology into a large-scale gaming company, we need 1 or 2 phenomenal large-scale online games. He placed his hope on Ion, which is expected to be launched in February or March next year. As for League of Legends to be launched online, it will not be until the end of next year at the earliest. But if you want to make a game a phenomenon, not only is the quality of the game good enough, publicity is also extremely important. Penguin's ability to become a gaming empire relies entirely on its huge user base. The rapid development of Qwen technology is also based on the 30 million user base of Xionia network. The traffic of Fun1 game platform is still too little. Perhaps we can wait until the school network declines in the future and buy it at a bargain price. Such an idea flashed through Li Zhe's mind. Renren is a youthful memory of a generation. If there are sufficient funds, it may not be impossible to build it again. However, it's too early to think about this now. For Fun1 technology, the most important issue is how to attract traffic to the game platform. How about making a food stealing game? Li Zhe had never thought of making a food stealing game before, mainly because this small game was too easy to be copied. But now that I think about it, I can't give up this opportunity just because I'm worried about this. If planned well, we can really take this opportunity to attract a wave of traffic to the gaming platform. After all, this is a game for everyone to steal food. At this time, someone knocked on the door. Please come in. Lu Kai walked in with a cup of coffee. Honey, take a rest and drink a cup of coffee. Okay, Li Zhe smiled at her, picked up the coffee and took a sip. Husband, what gift do you want for your birthday? Lu Kai asked. I really didn't want to be a warm man when I was reborn. Author, Li Yuanzhe. Chapter 311. Li Zhe reached out and pulled Lu Kai over, let her sit on his lap, and said with a smile, just give yourself to me. As he spoke, his big hands gently caressed her beautiful black legs. Lu Kai glanced at Li Zhe coquettishly, and she understood what he meant. The two are just one step away from each other. After playing with the beautiful legs in black stockings for a while, Li Zhe said to Lu Kai, Xiaoyu, please send these planning documents to the planning team, and also notify Zhaojia and Yu Zhongfeng to come over. Seeing Lu Kai walking out in high heels, Li Zhe sighed softly in his heart. Not only Lu Kai, but also Xiaoqiao, Zhou Ziyu, Shen Xinyi, and Luan Xiaolin also asked him what birthday gifts he wanted. Li Zhe's family doesn't pay much attention to birthdays. He has never celebrated birthdays and is used to it. Even if he had money for his birthday last year, he never thought of buying a cake to celebrate. But this year, 5 beautiful girls said they wanted to celebrate his birthday. But what Li Zhe fears most now is celebrating holidays and birthdays. How to arrange it with 4 girlfriends and 1 lover? Time management masters can't manage it anymore. More importantly, neither Xiaoqiao nor Lu Kai knew about the existence of Shen Xinyi and Luan Xiaolin. And Shen Xinyi didn't know the existence of Lu Kai and Luan Xiaolin. Only Zhou Ziyu knew it and might even have guessed Luan Xiaolin. Are these 4 girlfriends and 1 lover going to get together and live in harmony? Don't even think about it, it would be nice if you don't fight in groups. Li Zhe had seen a news story about 5 or 6 girls in Guizhou province fighting over a boy. The news seemed interesting, but when it was his turn, he couldn't laugh anymore. And even if the 5 of them really get along in harmony, Li Zhe can't handle it. Wei Xiaobao was sleeping with 6 of them, Su Quan, Ake, Fang Yi, Jianping, Zheng Rou, and Zhuang Er. He also got 2 of them, Su Quan and Ake. The author dared to write about it. At this time, someone knocked on the door again. Please come in. Mr. Li Zhaojia and Yu Zhongfeng walked in at the same time. Sit down. After inviting the 2 of them to sit down on the sofa, Li Zhe talked about the idea of the food stealing game. Can this game be made in a week? No problem. With the strength of Fun1 technology, it is so easy to make such a small game. In fact, this is what Li Zhe ordered. Zhaojia and Yu Zhongfeng didn't understand why he took things so seriously. Manager Yu, then allocate manpower to make Fun Farm as soon as possible, and strive to launch it on National Day. After speaking to Yu Zhongfeng, Li Zhe said to Zhaojia, contact Quio Literature and xiaonei.com. Your marketing department must do its best to promote this game. We must make this game a game for everyone, and everyone can steal food. A game for all. Zhao Jia and Yu Zhongfeng looked at each other, and then both said they would try their best. Although they didn't quite understand Li Zhe's thoughts, the two of them had become accustomed to his words. After Fun Farm is made, Fun Wan Ranch will also be made. Li Zhe then told Zhao Jia and Yu Zhongfeng about the idea of Fun Ranch. After finishing speaking, he seemed to remember something and said, there are also a few small games that can be made. Small games such as Grab a Parking Space, Renren Restaurant, and Rongguang Hospital are not as influential as the food stealing game, but they have all been popular for a while. At noon, Li Zhe and Lu Kaiyu went to the company canteen to eat together. There is no small stove in the canteen of Kudong Group. The big boss Li Zhe eats the same as ordinary employees. The food is also very good. There are 6 dishes for the daily work meal, 3 meat, and 3 vegetarian. Li Zhe and Lu Kaiyu queued up to get food just like ordinary employees, and employees greeted them from time to time. After finishing the dishes, the two of them found an empty table and sat down, eating and chatting. At this time, 2 girls came to the table next to Li Zhe and Lu Kaiyu carrying dinner plates, chatting and laughing. After seeing the two of them, one of the girls said, "Hello, Mr. Li, Secretary Lu." When the other girl heard this, she quickly followed suit and said hello. Li Zhe nodded and said to the first girl, "Zhaining, are you coming to eat too?" "Let's take part in the training," Wang Zhaining said. Li Zhe set his sights on another girl. "Isn't this Zhao Yahuan? Are you the company's newly signed artist?" "Mr. Li, my name is Zhao Yahuan. I am a student in the management department of the Normal University. I just signed a contract with the company," Zhao Yahuan said. "Then you and Zhaining are classmates." Li Zhe really didn't know that Zhao Yahuan was from the Normal University, and the only impression he had of her was the movie Adolescence. It is said that Zhao Yahuan is not popular. In Li Zhe's opinion, it is normal for her not to be popular. She has no resources and can only act in some bad movies and big internet movies. She has no mainstream resources at all, so how can she be popular? Calling her and Beijing together is really too flattering. She is even more unworthy of her name than Murongfu. During lunch, I met Wang Zhaining and Zhao Yahuan. In the afternoon, Li Zhe took Lu Kaiyu to Cuckoo Entertainment. The person in charge of Cuckoo Entertainment is a 27 or 27-year-old woman named Zhang Jingxian. She has an average appearance but a very good temperament, especially her friendly smile. She also graduated from Shanghai Normal University, worked as a reporter for a film newspaper, and also worked in an entertainment company. Zhang Jingxian only joined Cuckoo Entertainment last month. As soon as she arrived, she was appointed by Li Zhe as the operations director and the company's deputy general manager. Li Zhe holds the position of general manager temporarily. Zhang Jingxian is also very capable and has put forward many constructive suggestions since joining the company. For example, the company's main business has shifted from investing in movies to investing in and producing TV series. It was Zhang Jingxian who was responsible for the project of A Little Smile is a Lure, which is the company's first TV series project. There is also the need to standardize artist management and provide training for company artists. Today Zhang Jingxian made another suggestion to Li Zhe. Recruit trainees and train them to debut. Li Zhe didn't expect Zhang Jingxian to make this suggestion. Unlike South Korea, the trainee system is not popular in China. Most of the stars come from academies and there are drafts. We can recruit a group of trainees to try. Li Zhe thought for a while and did not deny Zhang Jingxian's suggestion. The trainee system may not be suitable for China, but it does have its advantages. First, the company has greater control over artists. With assembly line operations, if the company can support you, it can also support others. Second, trainees who have been trained for several years are good at singing and dancing, and are indeed more suitable for the idol profession. After recruiting trainees, they can be sent to South Korea for training. In terms of training trainees, I have to say that South Korea has more experience. Lee Jae thought for a moment and then said, we can also recruit a few trainees in South Korea. Recruiting trainees from South Korea, Jang Jingsyen said a little surprised. Mr. Lee, do you want to explore the South Korean market? The South Korean entertainment industry is too exclusive, and it is difficult for foreign companies to develop, Lee Jae said, shaking his head. I just want to set up a shell company there and cultivate a few artists. Lee Jae remembers that the domestic and South Korean entertainment circles had a honeymoon period for several years. The Korean wave is blowing in the country. There are 4 children who have returned to China, and many South Korean artists have come to China to make money. Kaku Entertainment can definitely take advantage of the situation and train a few South Korean artists to make money on both sides. It's better than letting artists from South Korean companies make all their money and run away. However, Lee Jae only wants to cultivate South Korean female artists, not male artists. It's just that during this period, who are the South Korean female artists who haven't become popular yet? Thai era? It seems that it has already debuted. Lee Jae really doesn't know much about the South Korean entertainment industry. I only know about the Thai era because, at the time when the Korean wave was popular, Korean entertainment novels were all about the Thai era. He thought for a long time, and only one person came to mind, Lee Men-yu. For a while, the short videos were all of this woman dancing. Find a South Korean legal practitioner to set up a shell company, then find a trainee or singer named Lee Men-yu and buy her contract. Lee Men-yu probably hasn't debuted yet, or has just debuted. It doesn't cost much to buy her contract. After talking about training trainees, Lee Jae handed 2 scripts to Jang Jingsyen. This is a new project for the company. Jang Jingsyen took it and took a look and found that it was an idol drama and a youth film. The Heirs, Old Boy. Old Boy is the next film the company is planning to produce. Lee Jae also agrees with Jang Jingsyen's idea of focusing on TV series. It's really not profitable to invest in movies now, but that doesn't mean he has to give up movies. Small budget movies must continue to be filmed. Actually, Lee Jae didn't want to film Old Boy, but during that camping trip, he sang the song Old Boy. Then we can only make a movie. The original version of Old Boy is a micro-movie, only more than 40 minutes long. The script was expanded by Lee Jae and asked by the screenwriting team of Kweo Literature. The original version of The Heirs is a South Korean idol drama, and the script was written by Lee Jae and then completed by the screenwriting team. After Jang Jingsyen read the script, she had no objections to the 2 projects. Then how do you choose actors? Of course, we give priority to the artists under the company, and the rest will be auditioned to select new talents or young actors to keep personnel costs as low as possible. Lee Jae continued, the role of the second female lead in The Heirs is given to Luan Xiaolin. The heroine of The Heirs is a Cinderella and is not suitable for Luan Xiaolin to play. On the contrary, the role of the second female lead, a rich lady who has a beautiful and fashionable appearance, is arrogant and willful, but has a soft and kind heart, suits her very well. Jang Jingsyen nodded to express her understanding. Lee Jae thought for a while and then said, the role of the school belle in Old Boy should be given to Zhao Yehuan. Josie's first stop for autograph signings was Hongcheng, located at the Normal College. The autograph session started at 9 a.m. on the 20th, but some fans came to the stadium to wait at around 8 a.m. At 9 o'clock on time, Josie arrived at the scene accompanied by his bodyguard Luji, a person in charge from the publishing house, and a teacher from the school. Fortunately for the students of the Normal College, those fans of the novel outside the school could not help but look in amazement when they saw the sexy and sultry Josie in a red dress. This is so beautiful too. No wonder his pen name is Chen Yu, he really is Chen Yu Luo Yan. Wearing a red dress, she looks like Bai Weiwei herself. The fans who came, especially the few male fans, were immediately enthusiastic. Freshman Chen Xian, Tang Ting, and Wen Chasha were also standing in the autograph signing line. Looking at Zhou sitting behind the table, smiling and signing autographs for fans, Wen Chasha couldn't help but whisper, "Is this Zhou? This is so beautiful." Chen Xian nodded lightly. No wonder Li Jie would betray his girlfriend for her, it's so sexy and sultry. She has such good conditions, why would she seduce other people's boyfriends? Tang Ting said a little puzzled. Chen Xian glanced at Zhou again, smiled and said, "Without Li Jie, could she become a writer and sign books here? Without Li Jie, could she transfer from our ordinary school to Shanghai Normal University?" She paused and then said, "Without Li Jie, she would just be an ordinary beautiful girl." At this time, Windsor suddenly said, "Xiao Jiao is here." Chen Xian and Tang Ting followed her gaze and saw Xiao Jiao standing on the roadside not far away, accompanied by a tall and beautiful girl. Xiao Jiao looked at Zhou with a proud face, smiling, and felt extremely unhappy. She still doesn't know the details about Zhou. She knows how to write a shitty book, and she relies on Li Jie to help her. Li Jie was obviously her fiancé, so why was this mistress taking advantage of her? He became a writer and transferred to a good school. Thinking that Li Jie rarely came back recently and stayed in Shanghai all the time, Xiao Jiao felt a sense of crisis in his heart. She felt that the relationship between Li Jie and Zhou was getting closer and closer, but they were a little distant from her. The changes seemed to have started this summer. Zhou snatched away half of Li Jie during the last winter vacation, and now she wants to snatch him away again. She won't tolerate it. Seeing Xiao Jiao staring at Zhou with an ugly expression and a murderous look in her eyes, Bai Wei on the side called her a little worriedly, "Xiao Jiao." Xiao Jiao turned around and smiled reluctantly at her. "Sister Wei, let's go." Xiao Jiao and Bai Wei left together, but did not notice a girl looking at her. Tan Hui withdrew her gaze from Xiao Jiao and fell on Zhou again. This Zhou is really amazing. Step after step, Li Jie was about to be snatched away. It's also because Xiao Jiao is too incompetent. If it were her, she would never let Zhou succeed easily. Thinking of this, Tan Hui sighed lightly. She also understood that there was no possibility between herself and Li Jie. However, I don't know why, but I can't let go. After the autograph signing ended during the day, some fans uploaded photos of the autograph signing to the Novel Post forum in the evening, and the post immediately exploded. Although the pixels of the photo are a bit shabby, Zhou's appearance is so impressive. Is this Chen Yu? What a beauty! Such a beautiful woman would write a novel? I don't believe it. I also went to the autograph signing site, and I can confirm that the real person looks much better than the photo. The pixels are so crappy. This red dress looks like Bai Weiwei herself. Did Chen Yu write a novel based on herself? Chen Yu is Bai Weiwei, then who is Xiao Nai? We firmly support Chen Yu in starring as Bai Weiwei. Yes. No need to find another star, just let the author himself play the role. I was also there. Shen Yu is really beautiful. She is a real beauty writer. It's a pity that she has a boyfriend. No way, such a beautiful beauty has a boyfriend. At this time, a black post suddenly appeared. This Chen Yu is a mistress who steals other people's boyfriends, and this book was not written by her. In the dormitory, Xiao Jiao sat in front of the computer, looking at the message reminders on the post bar, and was very angry. Your post has been deleted due to violation of the rules of this site. Zhou is the mistress, can't she still tell the truth? This fan forum is full of idiotic fans. No, she also wants to build a forum. The palace battle has just begun. Xiao Jiao can't beat Xiao Zhou, but she has helpers.